Good to go.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to episode 91 of Any Given Sunday for Sunday, November 21st, 2021. I am your host, Manny Brown. What's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys had a happy, safe, blessed week. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Josh Rodriguez. Josh, what is good? Did we lose Josh? Josh is frozen in time. Please don't tell me we did this again.
Manny,
you still there?
You can't make this up. The Wi-Fi stopped immediately once I started the show, but I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're okay. Jeez, can't make this up.
Oh
Cannot make this up.
Listen, I have some theories of who could be, fucking with us here. Could be Matthew Stafford's representatives.
Yep.
LeBron for many reasons.
LeBron might be doing this
for many reasons. Inside joke, guys.
Yep.
And I don't know, the Chinese. Maybe after tonight's episode, maybe China's messing with us. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or the American government protecting China. Who knows? Hey, we're deep into the conspiracy take. So let's start over.
Okay.
Let's start over. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
You are listening to Any Given Sunday for Sunday, November 21st, 2021. I'm your host, Manny Brown, joined as always by my co-host, Josh Rodriguez. Josh, what is good?
My Wi-Fi is not good. That's what's not good. Everything else I think is good.
No, what's up, man? How are you? How's the family? How's work? How's everything?
I'm well, man. Good fantasy football day for me, so I'm happy about that.
Austin Eckler, you beautiful human being.
I love him.
It is a good day. It is a good day.
I'm in love.
It's a good day to be a fantasy football holder.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins, you beautiful man. Austin Eckler.
Cam Newton, you beautiful man.
Austin Eckler, you beautiful man. And Elijah Moore, you even beautiful more.
Beautiful.
Yes. So good day on the fantasy. Good day on the fantasy front, man.
And Jonathan Taylor, for those who have him, beautiful day for you guys.
Ooh, yes. Jonathan Taylor. Yes.
Yep.
Good day. But how's the family, man? Everybody's getting geared up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Los Angeles for Thanksgiving. I think I'm gonna either go to a soup kitchen, feed some homeless. Haven't decided exactly what my plan's going to be, but something along those lines. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, man, it's first time, and I'm still in the hotel, obviously, if you guys can see from the background. So, it's for the first time in 5 years. I'm not hosting Thanksgiving at my home, so that's good. I wish I had a home though, so that's kind of the bad part. But no, not hosting Thanksgiving. So I'm actually looking forward to just going to somebody's house, eating, watching football, and leaving. Yeah. Not having to clean up, not having to host, not having to pretend to talk to everybody. The normal host vibes. But no, that's cool, man. And then still staying in this hotel sucks. So, matter of fact, today I had to call the cops because somebody stole my fucking chain from my room.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It had to be a worker, right? Because how else did someone have access?
Yeah, they're saying that none of the housekeeping had entered. We went to the call, through the lock chart or whatever, and see who all is coming into the room. And nobody, and their exact quote was, "Well, no one that didn't have a key or access to your room entered your room." And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? So somebody could have either stolen a key,
right,
got a key just by using my information,
right.
Like I'm just, so I had to call the cops on that, and so now they're involved, and yeah,
that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine. It's like if I don't have enough things to worry about, now I can't fucking keep shit in my room. And then it wasn't just my chain too. It was like my son's Switch.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we just called the cops today. We're seeing where that's gonna go, and hopefully, probably have to go stay somewhere else. It's crazy. Like, I can't fucking stay here, and you guys are stealing my shit. Like,
do you have cameras?
Yeah, they got cameras all over this joint, but I need a police report for them to.
Please.
Yeah. So
funny story. I got accused of stealing a TV out of a Motel 6 one time.
You?
Yep. I was staying. This is when I was like kind of homeless. I'm not gonna lie, in Los Angeles. And I would stay whenever I could. I would stay at a Motel 6, the same Motel 6, and I stayed for a night. I left. Didn't know I was gonna stay again. Ended up just needing a place to stay again. I had this credit card that I was using at the time. went back, and then when I was checking in, they were like, you're not allowed to stay here anymore. I was like, why? They're like, well, the room that you were staying in last night or last time you were here, the TV's gone. Someone stole the TV, and you're the last person on record. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I had to stay somewhere else that night. I ended up going back the next night to clear my name, and they said that they looked at the cameras and they caught the person who did it. It wasn't me. But yeah, for like a day, like they didn't let me stay in the Motel 6.
You know what's fucked up about this? Like one day Josh is gonna run for office, or
Right.
end up on some high profile NBC nightly news hosting gig. We were gonna hire you, but it says here you stole a TV from a Motel 6 back in 2013. Like,
man, that night was rough. That was a rough night for other reasons as well, but I won't get into. But it was rough.
Yeah, man. Oh God, yeah. No, it's I just hate that shit. It's like,
yeah,
staying somewhere, you're staying in a hotel, and it's like you got enough. Obviously, I'm living in a hotel with my wife and 3 kids, so it's already as unpleasant as it sounds. And then it's like, oh, hey, I got to worry about freaking people coming in potentially stealing my shit. It's like, it's annoying. So I've been dealing with that all day. But yeah, that's but it is what it is. But other than that, man, yeah, just getting ready for the holidays. It's kind of been low key. And then my birthday is on Sunday. So
happy birthday!
Yeah. Birthday's on Sunday. The big 3-5.
Man.
Not sure how I feel about it yet.
Man, I'm almost there.
I feel about it.
I'll be 3-5 in March.
I trimmed the beard because I was starting to get more and more gray hairs. So I was like, man,
you look young, man. You don't look 35.
Well, thank you. I feel 35. That's for sure. I feel 35. That's for sure. I feel like 50, honestly. But yeah, man. Birthday, family, good stuff. So I can't really complain too much. So aside from my shit getting stolen, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Sorry,
there's people in the world going through way worse. But yeah, man, let's get into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Crazy week. I guess we could start with some sad news. Popular rapper Young Dolph got shot and murdered. When was it? Wednesday. It's just sad. That's how long the week has been. I think it was Wednesday.
It was the first half of the week. It was like hump day or before hump day. Yeah, I don't know.
I believe it was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just a sad story. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Young Dolph. I know you weren't either.
Yeah.
So we're not going to sit here and pretend like we're just these hardcore Young Dolph fans. I know my sister was really a big fan of his, and I know some friends that were huge fans of his. I never really got into his music, but nonetheless, it's still sad to, things like these keep happening, especially in hip hop. It's how big of a fan I am of hip hop. You are as well, and it's just sad that these things just continue to happen. And I just pray for his family, his loved ones. It's tragic story. If you guys are not aware, just shot and killed in Memphis, his hometown, stopping to get cookies at a local restaurant that he was supporting. It's like, is this the type of, is this the fuck, forget hip hop, street shit, whatever. Is this like literally the type of world we're living in where you just literally can't just do regular shit without getting, but then it's also from a hip hop perspective. It's like, these rappers have to understand, man, like once you get to that level, you can't just be moving around comfortably like that. It's sad.
That's not fair to them. That's so dumb.
Not in your hood though, Josh.
But that's even crazier. Like that's where you should be most comfortable.
You would think, but
yeah, I know.
You know how it is, man.
I know every rapper dies in their hood. So every rapper dies in their own hood. Well, except for Biggie and Tupac. But outside of that,
but like Big L, Soulja Slim, Nipsey Hussle, like everything that Nipsey Hussle did for fucking Crenshaw, and he still got shot in Crenshaw. It's like, it's like these things happen, and it's like every time it happens, I hate to go to that point, but it's true. It's like, the hood don't love you like that. You think it does, it don't. Like you can help the hood, and you could be about helping your people and helping all that from afar. You could do that shit remotely.
Well, because you made it out of there, but there's always like 10 or 15 people from your hood who rap who think it should have been them.
It's not even that. It's just people just honestly, like I believe like half of it is just clout chasing. It's like literally just like, I shot Young Dolph, which is still like mind-boggling to me because it's like you literally forget the rapper, whatever. Right. But you took somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's child. Like I can't even. yeah, I can't even fathom, man. Just something like that happening. I just can't even fathom it. It's so sad and just so unnecessary. That's the biggest thing. It's just like
Yeah.
unnecessary, man. But
Yeah.
it's going to continue because these rappers just don't learn, man. Sadly, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying like
No, I get it.
it should be, but you know what I mean? It's and it's especially like rappers that talk about street shit. It's like, yo, people are going to test you, you know. This is not like J. Cole. Nobody wants to shoot J.
Right.
Cole. You know what I mean? Like people are going to come test you if you talk about street shit. Like, and
Right.
again, I'm
And
not saying this is right and this is what it should be like. I'm just saying that the hood don't love you, man. And and you just have to be more careful, and you can't just be out here,
buying
just
cookies
walking around.
You can't be out here buying cookies.
Apparently, man, it's God.
Not
I hate
to laugh at it, but yeah.
No, I don't want to laugh at it. And again,
Yeah.
rest in peace to Young Dolph. Condolences to his family. That's sad. That's a sad. I hated hearing about that. Even again, I'm not a fan. I know you weren't a fan, but still, anytime you hear something like this happen, it's always a tragedy. And I think about the loved ones and the individuals that that lost a son, a father, a cousin, a brother, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace to Young Dolph, man, for sure. All right, let's transition to something a little bit positive. The NFL, Week 11. What a crazy week.
Upside down, man. The NFL's upside down.
Well, I feel like I should say this too. We didn't lead with this, but we were joking about the Wi-Fi earlier in the show, but we're the only reason we're joking about it is because, as you guys know, we didn't do a show last week. Fully ready to go, cocked, ready to go to do a show, and Josh Rodriguez's Wi-Fi just goes kabooey, just done
right before it hit live. Right before it
hit live. We literally were waiting around for like 45 minutes trying to get it to work, and it just was not going to work. So, so my apologies for that for folks that were expecting a show last week and we didn't deliver on that. That's
we do have a culprit though. We do have a culprit.
Oh, I'm dying to hear who the culprit is.
Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yes, Matthew Stafford. And conveniently takes a bye week.
Yeah. He cuts the Wi-Fi off and goes on vacation. I see you, Matthew.
No, I was so, you guys that know me know I was so ready to come on last week and just shit on Matthew Stafford after that performance. Oh, I was just so ready to just, go in. But we missed that opportunity. But we'll see. Hey, well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of other opportunities as the season goes on.
I don't know if we will.
Hey, maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Who knows?
You know what? You just need one opportunity. You just need it to happen in the wild card round or the.
Listen, I'm not trying to be a hater here. Like I'm not. It's not like I'm actively rooting for this shit. Listen, if he shuts me up, he shuts me up. I'm just saying. Like,
he's MVP candidate up until probably last week. I'm not gonna lie.
So, until 2 weeks ago, because it was what, the 49er game, and he didn't really play well against Tennessee either.
Right. Ever since he got spun around in the end zone and just chucked it out of the end zone, he's been
yeah.
Since that moment,
it has not been a good couple weeks for our friend Mr. Statford.
Has not. Pat Stafford. Pat Stafford. No, Stat Patford.
But it was a crazy week in the NFL, National Football League. Another crazy week. I feel like we say this every week. A lot of surprising scores, some victories that I did not see coming. What was kind of your big takeaway from this week?
It's funny. For me, the big takeaway was that the Colts could easily be like 8-3 right now. Like watching them play against the Bills, it reminded me of like maybe a few years ago when they kind of were like on that threshold of becoming contenders for the Super Bowl. It just reminded me of that. And then I thought about the games that they lost. I'm like, man, they could easily be 8-3 right now. Coinciding with the fact that you and I have been saying this for a while now. Like, I don't like Buffalo. I don't like Buffalo at all. And it's just
supremely overrated.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at, the results of this week, and I think the Buffalo Indianapolis game just proves to be the case that like this division, this conference, both conferences, this whole league is up for grabs right now. I don't remember a single time where it was like there's not a definitive like this is the best team that everybody's chasing in each conference, and it's going to, you have to perform or outperform that particular team. Anybody at any given moment can beat anybody. It's insane. Like if you told me the Patriots were going to play like, I don't know, give me an NFC team, the Vikings or like the Packers or something like that, I'd be like, okay, they got hot at the end. Like I can totally see that. This is like one of the few years where I could actually say that, even though it does happen from time to time. But the parity this year is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy the level of parity, and I don't even know if it's so much. I just don't think we just have a great team this year. I don't think there's a
Yeah,
legitimate great. Forget
not a single
great.
one.
I don't even think there's like a very good team. There's a lot of good teams,
Mhm.
solid teams, but with potential to being very good and great. But yeah, I don't think there's a very good team out there. You know, maybe the closest one is Tampa if they're firing on all cylinders,
Not even Tampa,
and
man.
that's like
They've been playing bad, not bad lately, but they had a bad week last week.
yeah, they had a bad week,
Yeah.
and you know, and whatnot. But I'm just saying, if everything breaks right, maybe Tampa. You know, that's the only one I could kind of see as like has that level of, and Kansas City, of course.
Kansas
If
City, yeah, Tampa, and the Rams.
yeah, and the Rams. You know, I honestly, I'm not even so sold on the Rams either. Like, I just think the Rams have had a lot of clunkers this year. You know, for a team that has all that talent and all that hype and all that
Yeah,
exposure, you know, they've had some bad games this year.
they have.
And, you know, but again, I think it's just that it speaks to the kind of crazy nature of the NFL this year. And again, I just don't think there's a really great team. There's not a dominant team out there. Like everybody can beat everybody unless you're the Jets. Anybody can
The
beat
Jets beat the
anybody.
Titans, bro. He beat the Titans.
Yeah, I know, and the Bengals, but that to me that
Yeah.
those games were more about those teams than it was about the Jets because
I mean, jeez.
I don't even know how the hell we did that. But yeah, I just think it's just a crazy year. I think that the one thing that stuck out to me, more than anything else was just I think the Bills are supremely overrated, and I don't think, and I still think the AFC is Kansas City's to lose.
Same.
I've
Same.
seen nothing that shows me that Kansas City, you know, everybody was basically ready to throw dirt on Kansas City's grave last week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. You know, they're done. Mahomes is a bust. You know, I was hearing that Mahomes is overrated. The first 3 years of his career were were just bullshit. Like, you know, all these things I'm hearing, and it's like, no, they're now 6-4, 7-4, something like that.
Yeah.
Their record and
7-4 now.
You know,
Yeah.
7-4. I think they're tied for that division lead, if not leading the division. It's like, yeah, here we go again. Same old, same old with the Chiefs. And listen, I don't think they've like particularly played dominant football.
No.
But they're still winning games.
And they're winning it in different ways too. Like they didn't like today's game was a grinded out type of game against a very good team, and the defense just dominated that game. So it's showing that they can win in different ways outside of shootouts.
And the defense has played extremely well since since the Giants game on Monday night. The defense has really played well. And you know, they've shown that they can win in other ways, and Mahomes is, you know, slowly getting back to that Mahomes level. You know, so I still think Kansas City's that team. You know, everybody was ready to anoint Buffalo. I'm sorry. You know me. I said it from the beginning. I didn't buy into Buffalo. To me, Josh Allen is consistently inconsistent. You know, there's the games where he just does something that just makes you say, wow, he makes a throw, he makes plays. Josh Allen's the guy that goes out there and throws 400 yards and, you know, has a 107 quarterback rating. And then the next week he'll look like a freaking Division II quarterback out there. He just look like he just doesn't belong in the NFL.
He's like Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook of quarterbacks.
Honestly, he kind of is. It's weird with it's weird with Josh Allen, man. There's just times where he just like, is this the same guy that played 2 weeks ago? It's so weird with him. The inconsistency from Josh Allen worries me. Their defense is good, but I think their defense gets a little overrated as well. Yeah. Their defense is not that good. You know, people make it sound like they're the 2000 Ravens, and I'm like, they're not that. They're not on that level.
People just like Micah Hyde. That's all it is.
Listen, they have good players on that defense. And it's a good defense, but to me, that defense doesn't intimidate me. That defense in the postseason wouldn't scare me.
Is there a defense in the league that scares you?
I think Pittsburgh when they're fully healthy.
Yeah. They missed everybody this week, man. You can
tell.
they
missed everybody. Yeah, they missed everybody this week. Yeah. I think Pittsburgh when they're fully healthy, I think they have. I think Pittsburgh when healthy, I think they've got the best defense in the NFL.
Well, the Rams
is really good. You know, I think the Rams defense is
that's
a little
why I'm high up. Do you? I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know. That to me, they're kind of like Buffalo, man. The stats say they're a great defense, but every time I see that defense play, they're giving up big plays and big yards, and not playing up to their potential. Yeah,
They can be had. They can be had for sure. They don't play with any type of dominance. I've never really watched them play and be like, oh, this is a dominant defense. Yeah,
which is surprising because you have dominant players all throughout that defense.
Yeah,
but
Aaron Donald's like the best defensive player we've seen in like the past 20 years.
Yeah. And they don't dominate a lot of games as they should, so it's going to be interesting to see. I just don't believe in Buffalo. Their offense is okay, not great. They don't have a great running game. If Diggs is not involved, Sanders is okay. Their passing game is better. Look, they're a good team. I don't want to sit here and make it sound like Buffalo is just trash. I think Buffalo is a solid, good team, but I think people were ready to basically anoint them and basically hand them over the AFC after that win in Kansas City. And I'm just like, now in retrospect, I think that game was more about Kansas City than it was about Buffalo.
I agree.
So that's kind of the biggest thing. It was a twofold thing. Buffalo just not being legit, and I just think this league is wide open. I mean, look at the AFC right now. It is wide open. It is like completely wide open. Like it's Kansas City, and then it's like take your pick. Baltimore, you never know what you're getting out of Baltimore from week to week.
Right.
You just don't. And now you have Lamar Jackson sick. So who the hell knows?
He'll be all right.
We'll be all right, but we'll see. And then the
freaking Patriots, dude. What the fuck?
Oh my God, man. Fucking Patriots, man. They just won't go. Them and Tom Brady, they just won't go away ever. Like, just go away. Like, fuck.
Such a well-coached team. That team is like, you know exactly what you're getting with New England. That's why I like.
That's the greatness of Bill Belichick too.
Not that I like him to go to the AFC Championship game or whatever, but like I know exactly what I'm getting. You're gonna get like precise routes, short routes. Just be group. That's a defense that kind of scares me if I'm being honest with you. The Patriot defense, solid defense. You know what you're getting. If they don't make mistakes, they have a chance to be in every single game. Period.
Yeah, they're not a team that's going to necessarily beat themselves. I'm not a big
Mac
Jones fan. I think Mac Jones is overrated. I think he's very limited as far as what he can do.
To me, Belichick's managing that.
Yeah, he's managing that. No, it's not even like I'm trying to diss Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is playing as well as he should be playing based on the circumstances. Like Mac Jones is just that guy that's like, hey, don't lose us. He's in a lot of ways, he's kind of like when you say ultimate game manager, like that's what he is. He's Mac Jones is going to play in this league for 20 years, be a good quarterback. You'll win with him. He'll probably take you to a playoffs a couple times. Can you win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones? I don't think so. I personally don't think so.
Listen, I saw Bill Belichick win a Super Bowl with rookie Tom Brady or second year Tom Brady, who was basically what Mac Jones is right now.
It's a little different. I mean, listen, crazier things have happened. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, so who knows?
Eli won too. I love Eli, but come on.
Eli won too. Who knows? But all things considered, I think Mac Jones is going to be a very good quarterback in this league, or a solid quarterback in this league. And listen, the Patriots are the Patriots, man. You just know what you're getting with them each and every week, and that's kind of the biggest compliment you can pay to a team like that. There's no surprises with the Patriots. You know what you're getting, and they've been playing well, and their defense has stepped up too. Maybe the Patriots. Who knows? Maybe the Patriots have a chance to win that division. Who would have said that 3 weeks ago?
Not I.
They could probably win that division. Who knows?
Insane. They played Buffalo twice, right? They still haven't played Buffalo, have they?
They still haven't played Buffalo. So they have 2 matchups against Buffalo here late in the year. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But like I said, Baltimore, you never know what you're getting. The Patriots, they still have a rookie quarterback, so they're going to be a little bit limited when it comes to the postseason. Yeah. I mean, the AFC West, outside of Kansas City, I can't figure out any of these other teams. I mean, the Chargers look good tonight, and then they'll lay an egg next week. I promise you. Watch. Next week, they'll lay an egg.
The biggest Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team I've ever seen in my life.
I can never read that team. I just cannot read that team. There's Justin Herbert is great. They've got a lot of great players on that team, but I don't know. It's never consistent. Them and the Ravens are kind of similar. They have really good quarterbacks. They have a good coach. Well, in the case of Staley, we don't know yet, but
to be honest, the Chargers make less sense to me because I think Baltimore's so reliant on Lamar, like kind of ad-libbing and making plays, even though they do have weapons. Whereas the Chargers, it's like, all right, you have Justin Herbert who can stand and throw in the pocket. You have an elite running back. You have an elite wide receiver in Keenan Allen. You have a huge target in Mike Williams. You have 2 tight ends who can catch the football. Like to me, it does not make sense to me why, for any reason, that the Chargers should be struggling on offense the way that they do. Half of their offensive line's good. Half of it needs some work, but the playmakers that they have, the talent that they have on offense, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they struggle the way they do.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Yeah, the Chargers are just hard to read. I
Yeah,
don't understand. And then the rest of that division, I mean, Denver, Denver will have a big win this week, then next
yeah,
week will get clobbered.
very low
It's just
ceiling.
a hard. It's a low ceiling type of team.
Yeah,
Oakland. I think Oakland's really suffer. I mean, Oakland got hit with a double whammy. I mean, remember Oakland was like 5-2
that Gruden
leading
thing
that
ruined their
division.
season.
Honestly, I don't even think I think the Gruden thing, and then the Henry Ruggs thing. I think that really was like a gut punch to the franchise. I mean,
Yeah,
just like he's
yeah,
starting to play well. We're feeling good about this draft class, and then Henry Ruggs goes and
right.
does what he does, and it's just
Yeah,
like it's like a double whammy to
it is.
that
And then from a
organization.
football standpoint, he stretches the field. It makes things a lot easier for
Exactly.
Derek Carr and Darren
Exactly.
Waller too. Opens up the
Yep.
seams.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
And I feel bad for Derek Carr, man, because I like Derek Carr. I think he's a
me
really good
too.
quarterback who's kind of been languishing on a team that has been kind of inconsistent. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to see Derek Carr in the postseason. I mean, we still may get that, but the Raiders, who knows right now with the Raiders.
Nah.
So the rest of that division is real shaky. I mean, it's just the AFC in general. I mean, the AFC South. I mean, Tennessee. Who expected Tennessee to lose to Houston?
Not I. Even
Yeah.
without Derrick Henry and Julio Jones, not I. At all.
Yeah, that was a shock. That to me was the biggest shock of the season so far. Like Tennessee would lose that game. I don't think anybody in America had Tennessee losing that game. So that kind of bumps Tennessee down a peg a little bit. And the Colts are hot right now. And Frank Reich is such a great coach. Oh my God, he's such a good coach. That team was dead as a doornail. What, 4 weeks ago? And they've rebounded. Carson Wentz is playing well. For all the people that wanted to throw dirt on Carson Wentz, he's playing well. He's in a perfect situation. He doesn't have to do too much, but still, an organization and a team that utilizes his skill sets well. Listen, Carson Wentz is good if he just plays within himself and he doesn't turn the ball over and stays healthy.
Right. That's it.
He's a really good quarterback. Like,
stop throwing the football with your left hand, Carson.
It's so frustrating. It's like
he does some stupid shit sometimes. Yeah.
He can be a very good quarterback. He's just sometimes this is a guy that almost won an MVP. People forget that. Like,
he didn't get hurt. He probably wins it. Honestly,
he probably wins a league MVP. So yeah. And it's like, and then you listen to some people, they basically think he's Mark Sanchez 2.0. I just. It's like, okay, listen, is he Tom Brady? No, but he's a good quarterback. And, I'm glad to see him finally starting to, turn it around, turn his career around. And he's revitalizing it, with this run that he's having with the Colts. So, yeah, the Colts have a chance. And, listen, the AFC is completely wide open. And even in the NFC is very top heavy. You got the Rams and you've got, you got the Rams, you've got the Packers, the Bucks. You kind of have a hodgepodge of teams there at the top. And then the rest of it is who knows. I mean, the Vikings again, another team I just can't figure out. I just can't figure out. I can't figure out none of these teams. I guess that's the theme I have. I can't figure out any of these teams in the NFL this year. I just can't. Right. I'll ask the audience. I'll ask the experts out there. I can't figure out any of these teams this year. Who the hell knows? Right now, if you had to put money on it, water gun to your head. Who's going to the Super Bowl this year?
Chiefs, Rams. Yeah. Chiefs, Rams. I'm a believer in Stafford, man. I am. And I think OBJ.
You're all in on the Stafford. You're all in on the Stafford.
I am. First, I am. I think losing Robert Woods is awful, but I do think adding OBJ for that role kind of does help a little bit, even though they are two different type of wide receivers, but I still think that it's a hell of a backup plan to have. I believe in that defense more than I believe in any other defense in the NFC as well. I want to say the Packers. The Packers are kind of like a close second to me just because of Aaron Rodgers, but there are times where the Packers, to me, like same thing. I can't understand why they struggle so much to move the football. And we've seen in the past few postseasons, Aaron Rodgers gets to the NFC Championship game, then something happens. And then I'm not saying it's Aaron's fault, but that the offense stalls or something like that. So I have a hard time trusting the Packers in the postseason.
Yeah. I can't read on any of these teams, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see the Rams. I can see the Packers. I can see the Bucks. I could see, those are the three.
Those are the three. Those are really honestly the three teams, I think.
Arizona.
It's funny because like we were talking about teams that like are great or like the best teams in the league, and they are by definition the best team in the league. the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they're winning games with their backup quarterback right now. They have a solid defense that, wreaks havoc and, gets to the quarterback, and they have playmakers, DeAndre Hopkins and James Conner's having a hell of a year. So why not Arizona? I just think that as football fans, we haven't seen it from them. So therefore we haven't even decided to put them at that plateau yet.
Yeah, their defense is playing well. I think the Watt injury hurt them a lot because he was having a really good year. And the Watt injury kind of set them back. And obviously they got the injury to Kyler Murray. So I think they need to get Kyler back healthy.
DeAndre too.
If you get DeAndre back healthy as well. And if they can get those 2 guys back, I mean, yeah, maybe why not Arizona? I mean, they have one of the best. I think they have the best record in the league right now.
Yeah, they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I think they're 8-2, 9-2.
Either way, the fact that we're just mentioning for the first time right now is kind of blasphemous, considering the year that they've had.
Yeah. No, listen, Arizona has a shot. Arizona has as good a shot as anybody else to make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, but again, it's just hard to read. I could see Arizona winning the Super Bowl. I could see Arizona losing in the wild card. It's just that's just how this year is going to be, apparently. And actually, I think it makes for fun football because you just don't know what's going to happen.
If you get in, I mean, the 7th seed could win the whole thing. If you're a fan of a playoff team right now, like if you're a fan of the Colts, you're telling yourself just get in. You never know what happens.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about bad football. Do you think the football this year's been uniquely bad?
Yeah. I think it's fun. Have you?
I mean, what exactly? I mean, to me, bad football. What exactly is great football? Right? It's always hard to listen. A lot of people have made a big thing about the pass. The roughing the passer calls, and
that's different than actual play of the game.
Right, the actual play of the game. I mean, it's fine. I'm not an expert. I'm not out there with a fine tune looking at it like, oh, that offensive lineman missed a block, so it's great. I'm not PFF. You know what I mean? I'm not looking at this like that on that level each and every week. I mean, the football's been fine. I just had a discussion with somebody earlier, and they were saying like, oh, the football this year's just really been bad. Like all these bad teams, and it's just been the tackling has been bad. And it's like, if I looked at it from that level, if I really, really, really wanted to look at it with a fine tooth comb, I'm sure I can find issues with blocking, with tackling. But I feel like every year you can have that, right? Like again, what is great football?
Yeah, to me, I just think if anything, this for some reason I feel like quarterback play has been a little more inconsistent than normal.
That's kind of the thing I've heard too, is like the quarterback play has been really up and down this year.
Yeah, there are very few quarterbacks where I'm like, okay, they've consistently performed well this year. I mean, because I can name any quarterback: Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill. Like you in these contending teams who've had horrible. Tom Brady the other day had a horrible game. So to me, I think that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. If I'm going to pick on anything, is the fact that I don't think the quarterback play has been up to par as in previous seasons. But I wouldn't say the play has been, in general, has been sloppy or something.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm with you on that. The quarterback
Mahomes,
play, I mean, I would say
another one.
I would say probably the most consistent quarterback from game 1 to game 10 or 11 has probably been Kirk Cousins. Like he's just consistent.
Kirk has had some bad games. Yeah, he's had some bad games too. Yeah, he's had a few, man. He's had a few. Yeah, who's been the most?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. I think that who's been the most.
Derek Carr was consistent up until the Giant game a few weeks ago. Yeah, man, it's been weird, man. It's been a weird year.
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think of it now. Like who's been consistently like
Dak has had a few stinkers.
Well, yeah, I think Dak was on his way to having a monster year before the injury.
Yeah,
that
kind of Denver game today. He was,
Teddy Bridgewater was having a good year until they kind of had a really.
Kyler's had it outside of the first game against New Orleans. Aaron Rodgers has had a solid year from the top off the top of my head. Kyler Murray's had a solid year as well. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the teams now. I really can't.
Herbert had that bad game in Baltimore.
Burrow's had a
bad game in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Lamar. I think Lamar's
been very more consistent than I think people give him credit for. But yeah, there hasn't really been anybody.
The Miami game hurts Lamar.
Right. And then he missed last game.
Yeah, and he missed last game. I'm trying to think.
Garoppolo's been like hot or cold. Like everyone's just
up and down. I'm trying to think. Stafford, we just talked about.
Right. Burrow's had some stinkers.
Brady, we talked about.
Baker's been Baker.
Baker's been Baker. Jameis got injured, so he can't even bring it. And Simeon's been bad.
Wentz has been played better this year, but he still has had some games that you're just kind of
Wentz started the year bad.
Right.
Hurts has been up and down, but he's starting to kind of play really. Hurts is actually playing really well.
Yeah, he is. He had a great
Hurts
game today.
is actually playing really, really well.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at him now. Mac Jones, no. Ben's been awful this year. He had a great game today, but he's been pretty much bad this year for the most part.
Ben is a little strong. I feel like Ben gets a lot of shit. I mean, well, I know why he gets a lot of shit, but it's every time I look at it, Ben is still giving you a chance to win a game. So
that's a good point. Matt Ryan, hot and cold.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's been the ultimate. I mean, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. The Jets are the Jets. I mean,
and people may not believe this, but Russell Wilson actually has been bad this year.
Yeah, he's been bad. He has not been good.
People don't want to believe it.
Oh no, of course no. Haven't you heard? Russell Wilson should have like six MVPs each year through the month of November.
Right.
He's the ultimate. He's the ultimate quarterback that should win MVPs from September to November. It's just the rest of the year he falls off.
Right. Yeah. But he's a great guy. So
yeah. Go Hawks. Yeah, you're right, man. I'm trying to look at it now. I'm trying to even think about it. I was like, I can't name anybody consistently over the year that has had like a dominant performance from like week 1 to now. I just can't, I mean, who knows? Maybe Mike White had the best fucking game any quarterback has had all year.
Yeah. Corey Easley says, good luck finding replacements. Good point. Shane Falco's not walking through that door.
No, man. Yeah, it's been a weird year for quarterbacks.
Corey's right.
No, it's true. Like, I don't think you can really literally find anybody. I mean, listen, we all know backups in this league are not exactly gold. I mean, if you have a good backup, you got to hold on to them as much as you can. I mean, who knows? I mean, listen, the Jets may have two of the best backups in football. Think about it, Flacco and Mike White. Who knows?
Flacco's a hell of a backup. Yeah,
Flacco's a hell of a backup. Colt McCoy's good. Colt McCoy's a good backup.
Yeah,
Colt McCoy's
Taylor Heineke. I mean, he's not the starting quarterback for the Washington football team. Like, he just had to step in because Fitz was hurt from week 1. So he's doing all this as a backup.
He's kept them afloat too, though. I
give him credit,
kid, man.
Yeah, he plays with guts, man. I like him a lot too.
Yeah, he's not. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Jake Delhomme, one of those guys that's not like super talented, but
Matt Moore.
They have guts and they just know how to play the position, man.
Yeah, like Matt Moore.
Yeah. He's not a superstar, but I think if you put a good team around him, he's perfectly competent as a quarterback.
Jake Delhomme almost won a Super Bowl. So
there you go. Different era, but for sure. Yeah, the quarterback play this year has been a little bit inconsistency, and I think that's why people will say like, oh, the overall gameplay as a whole has not been great because the quarterback, obviously. I mean, football is so dependent on the quarterback now anyway. So yeah, I think that when you've had this year of inconsistency when it comes to quarterback play, I think it does hurt the rest of the product. But
yeah,
other than that, I can't really see anything in particular. I mean, it's just, again, I just keep stressing. It's been a weird year. Like, who's your NFL MVP right now?
No idea. no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Usually by this point, you kind of have a good idea of who's going to be the MVP. And
it's because every time I think there's somebody, they fall off a cliff. Like Stafford, to me, I thought had it for a little bit. I thought Kyler Murray was going to have it for a little bit. Then he got hurt.
I thought Dak had it.
Dak had a chance. Yep.
Kyler Murray had a chance.
Yep.
You know who I thought it was going to be? Derrick Henry. And then he got hurt.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make a play for it if Green Bay finishes hot.
Yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers continues to put the season that he's had, and
even Brady, dude, like if the Bucks rip off a few it's just about consistency at this point. They're not going to Lamar Jackson. Corey Easley says Lamar Jackson. That's also very. I think.
Yeah, if Lamar comes back,
yeah,
Corey, if Lamar comes back. I could see Lamar. I mean, it's going to be one of those years where it's going to come down to literally week 18 and who plays the best. Because I can't see anybody right now that has. I mean, again, maybe Lamar if he comes back relatively. I think he just had a cold, right? I don't think he had COVID or anything.
He was sick. It wasn't COVID though. It wasn't COVID.
It wasn't COVID. Okay, yeah. So if he comes back relatively healthy from that, I'm sure he'll resume. But that's the thing with Lamar though. It's hard because Lamar. I love Lamar. Don't get me wrong, but Lamar is also susceptible to having those games where it's just like, damn, Lamar, what the hell are you doing? If JT gets over 20 TDs, it'll be close.
And the Colts go on a run at the end. I mean, because if you're going to give Derrick Henry as a running back, why not Jonathan Taylor? Especially if they rip off a few straight to end the season and make the playoffs.
Yeah, Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
Corey,
right.
good points, Corey.
Corey's bringing the heat tonight. Yeah, no,
Yep.
I could see. I mean, listen, I could see anybody winning an MVP this year. I mean, that's how weird this year has been. But I think it makes for fun conversation, man. I think the NFL season's been fun this year so far.
Yeah.
Again, not a great team, but a lot of teams that are kind of in the mix, and I think it makes for great theater.
Yeah. Tune in for our confusion next week.
Right? What do you think? What did you? We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but what do you think of the OBJ signing?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I mean, they didn't know this was going to happen, but I love it even more now that Robert Woods is hurt. Because I think, Robert Woods going down would have been a huge loss if they didn't have anyone to replace him. Like Van Jefferson's cool, don't get me wrong, but he's not Robert Woods.
No.
So listen, I think Odell is one of the most talented receivers I've ever seen. He just hasn't really put it together outside of, those couple of years with Eli Manning. I don't know what he has left in the tank. He is 29 now, maybe 30. I doubt he's lost that much of a step. It's hard to tell when he's played in Cleveland because him and Baker just didn't have some in chemistry. But to me, he's one of the most talented receivers I've ever seen. And if he can get into an offense, if McVay knows how to use him, I think that's going to be deadly. I really do. I think people are sleeping on that.
Yeah, I still think he's got something left. I mean, to me, the thing with OBJ is just is mentally is he in the game, and physically. Well, physically, one thing obviously he's got to be healthy, but if he's healthy, it's about his temperament and his ego, man. I think if he comes back and he wants to be great and he wants to finally be on a contending, winning team, and I think he's still because I mean, you can't tell me right now that he's not better than Van Jefferson.
He's way better.
He's not. Right, exactly. People are making it sound like you're getting some guy off the scrap heap. That's just
I'm saying it's Odell. People are treating him like Josh Gordon when Josh Gordon came back. I think everyone had these high hopes for Josh Gordon. He comes back, he didn't do much. I think people think
he's been out of football for like 5 years.
I think he's been out of the public eye. And I think football, once you're out of the public eye, more so than any sport, when you come back, people don't really believe in you or don't think you can, reach the potential that you had before. Odell was amazing. Odell was off to a historic start to his career. I mean, who knows what he would have been if, the Giants handled that correctly or if he had any type of quarterback play. He's one of my favorite receivers ever. I think he's that talented. He's unreal to me. So I hope he does well.
Yeah, he's supremely talented. I've always, I wasn't always the biggest fan, but I can't lie that his talent is tremendous.
I might have a soft spot for him, become a Giants fan, but.
Well, yeah, understandable. You guys haven't exactly done great. I thought Odell was the problem. I'm sorry.
No, it was the boat. The boat's the problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I must have missed that. Yeah. Nah, man, I'm with you. I think I think Odell still has something left in the tank, and I think this is a perfect situation for him. I think going to LA, he wanted to go there. I think being with this situation, being with the coach and the quarterback, I think it just makes too much sense for him. I think he's got a unit. This is it. And this other thing too, I was like, this is it for him. If he blows this opportunity,
you can't make it work here.
I think this is kind of similar to Antonio Brown with Tampa. It's like, yo, if you ruin this shit, that's it. This is the last.
Antonio Brown's been balling, man. When he's healthy, he's balling.
Yeah. It's, again, another guy that never been a question of his talent. It's just been, can he keep his head on straight? With Odell, he's had some health issues, so that kind of complicates things. But if he's healthy and his head is on right and he wants to contribute, I think OBJ is going to be a huge addition to the Rams. And again, it comes at perfect timing because the Robert Woods injury was a big loss for them. I'm kind of upset because I wanted to see that trio of Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and OBJ. I think that could have been deadly. Yeah, I think that could have been deadly, but apparently we got robbed from that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Anything else on the NFL side of things that are catching your attention?
I guess the only thing is I think the Chiefs are going to establish themselves as the AFC's favorites pretty soon if they haven't already. I know they're 7-4. I know the record doesn't say it, but I think they're back.
And I think that there's something. I think there is something to a Super Bowl hangover, man. I think that Bill Parcells said it best. The worst thing to do in sports is to go to a Super Bowl, lose, and have to come back the next year and do it again. Especially in football, like it's a lot. Yeah, And this is a team that's vying for a third straight Super Bowl appearance. It's a lot. Those players have played a lot of football, a lot of grind out games. Just mentally, I think the Chiefs. I think they get a little bored with the regular season. And I think they just
don't matter.
The first part is like, and I think they don't have any respect for that division. I think they know, like, hey, if we just win one game against LA, we do what we do against the Raiders, and we decimate the Broncos.
Yeah,
we'll be there at the end.
Yeah,
we'll win the division, and then it's all a crapshoot at the end, in January and February. So
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs. I'm with you. I didn't believe that the Chiefs were dead and buried. I didn't believe it, and I'm being vindicated for it. I still think they're the team to beat. I really, and the AFC side of things. I mean, I know we talked about it being wide open, but other than Kansas City, and now that their defense is starting to play well, yeah, I think Kansas City. Listen, they're not perfect. They still need a running game.
Right.
Mahomes needs to play still a little bit better. The offensive line needs to get straightened out. So listen, they have some issues to fix, but I think that everybody that was ready to throw dirt on them, I think it's looking a little premature. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, well, let's move on to the NBA. That's the first time we really had the chance to talk about it since the NBA has been back. Yeah. Any early season observations so far?
Early season observations.
We're like 15, 16 games into a marathon NBA season. So, anything that has caught your attention, good or bad?
Biggest observation is the Golden State Warriors are back, baby. Steph Curry is back. They don't even have Klay Thompson yet. They're running just their incredible motion. Offense, their bench is just as good as it was when they first started their dynasty. They're playing great defense. Clay's not even back. The team's the best
younger,
team.
More athletic.
Yeah, they're the best team in basketball. They're easily the best team in basketball right now. Right now, I'm not saying that can't change, but it can change. Who knows? But I don't think there's a team that's better than them right now in basketball. So for me, that would probably be my early observation.
That's the other thing I feel vindicated about because I said it last year. I'm like, they better watch out. They're letting Golden State rebuild, and they're quietly doing it. And people laughing, oh, they lost 60 games, and oh, James Wiseman, and all that. I mean, they don't even have Wiseman. That's the crazy part.
Wiseman or Thompson, yeah,
right. And it's like they're doing all this. Listen, I think Golden State, like you said, I think they're the best team in basketball. I don't even think it's close. They've got a great roster. They're young. They're athletic. Their defense, I think somehow they might even be better defensively now than they were even at their peak when they were winning championships. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Steph Curry, I think Steph Curry's better than ever. I think he might be even better now than when they won those championships, a few years ago.
That's such a scary thought.
Yeah, yeah, crazy. I mean, Jordan Poole's coming to his own. Andrew Wiggins. Remember when everybody wanted to, bury Andrew Wiggins? Like, oh, why are you trading for Andrew Wiggins? And
right,
they've clearly won that trade with Minnesota. Yeah, listen. Golden State's got it going. I just don't see anybody else that's even gonna touch them. I mean, it's a long season. Injuries will happen. They'll go through a slump just like they'll go through the dog days of January and February where they'll lose, 5 out of 7 or something like that. And, every team does it. But I think if they stay at this level, I just don't see anybody. And God, what do you think? Do you think Clay's going to come back to be, even 75% of what he was?
I do. I agree. I've been reading reports saying that he's basically back. I mean, this is all speculation. Obviously, this is basically taking the word of people who've been watching him practice, but I don't think they'd be saying that if he wasn't. Maybe his lateral movements might not be as quick, so maybe he won't be the defender that he is. But Klay Thompson's everything about how he helped the team offensively was just spotting up as a shooter. He can put the ball on the floor and score off the dribble if he needs to, but that's not what he does. I mean, this man scored 60-something points dribbling the ball like 6 times, something like crazy thing like that.
Yeah.
So for me, if he can just kind of stand there and shoot the basketball, his gravity, even when he's not touching the ball, is going to do wonders for that offense. And if he can, be like 80%, 90% of the defender that he was before the injury, he's going to do nothing but help him out immensely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. You're right. I think he's going to have a KD-like comeback. I mean, KD had the same injury. I know Klay had the ACL. But, I think in a weird way, I think having the ACL or having the Achilles right after the ACL in a weird kind of way, it kind of helps because he's been out of basketball for so long. So he's had a chance to fully heal the ACL, fully heal the Achilles. I think Klay's going to come back. He may not be, like you said, he may not be the on-ball defender that he once was, but I still think offensively he won't skip a beat.
Yeah.
And, he still has the size. He still has the physicality. I still think he'll be just as good. Yeah. It's scary, man. It's scary. Draymond looks like he's found the fountain of youth. I think I think Golden State's got it going. I don't think anybody, right now. Again, injuries will happen. I'm sure they'll go through the dog days. I'm sure, they'll have a stretch where they won't play as well. But yeah, if they stay healthy and they play motivated, and I think they're motivated. That's the other thing too. I think Steph's motivated. I think that organization's motivated. Like, yo, y'all were ready to write us off. Like, we're back, motherfuckers. Like, we here.
No. Only critique I have is they can just get a rim protector at the trade deadline. Someone like a bigger guy who can play defense here and there, protect the rim.
I still like Wiseman. That's the thing. I still like Wiseman.
I have to see it.
It's hard because he didn't have a great rookie year, but I also think it's hard for a rookie to go to a team like Golden State and try to develop, because it's like they're not in develop mode. They're in a championship mode, but even last year they were trying to make the playoffs, so that kind of that kind of messed with their timeline a little bit.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I almost feel like Wiseman would be better going to Charlotte or Charlotte, like going to Detroit or going somewhere else where he can develop and then be in a situation where he can actually just play and develop.
Right. He's being assigned a role. Yeah, I mean, he's very talented, and he can stretch the floor too because he can shoot the basketball. I mean, there's a lot of different things he can do as well. I mean, I'm not saying he can't. I just have to see him. Like, my one thing with them is kind of like, let's just say the Lakers really get going. You have AD, you have some big guys up front. I don't really know how that's going to be with them. They might be, a little vulnerable in that area. That's my only thing with them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the only thing. And I'm sure if they get to that point, they'll address it in the trade deadline.
They will. They absolutely will. And honestly, you can get that person off of waivers. I mean, JaVale McGee was basically someone who's just been tossed around the league off waivers, these minimum contracts, and he's helping out the Suns tremendously. If you can get someone like that, and I don't know who it is off the top of my head because I don't know who's going to be on waivers or what the contract situations look like. But if you can get like someone very similar to JaVale McGee,
on Nerlens, I'm just throwing this on Nerlens Noel type,
right? What I mean?
Somebody like
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Listen, Golden State's got it going. So, want to talk about my Lakers?
Let's talk about it. How do you feel?
I hate it. It's a disaster. I'm ready to blow it up.
Really? Already?
I don't think this team is winning a championship. That's what it's about. This year is about winning a championship, and I don't think this team is winning a championship.
Right.
I don't think this team is winning a championship. The Russell Westbrook thing has been a disaster. It doesn't fit. It looks as bad as it looks because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook just don't fit. It just doesn't. Like, we tried it. We tried to be cute. We tried to swing for the home run instead of making small moves that help the overall team. We didn't. We lost Caruso, and see how that's working out. Our defense is shit. Like, I have no faith, bro. Like, listen.
You're not willing to give it more time?
I mean, we'll give it more time, but again, it's like, this season is about winning a championship. Right. Can you honestly say? Can any Laker fan right now honestly say that this is a championship team? I don't think any Laker fan right now. That's. I mean, I know some. Baylor, I'm talking to you. still have hopes, and they still have, they're still going to be. And listen, I'm a Laker fan. I bleed purple and gold, so it's not even about me being disloyal. I look at this team right now, and I'm like, does this team look like a championship team to you? And again, it's early. It's 15 games into the regular season. It's a long season. I'm sure they can figure it out. They'll have their time when they'll play well. We'll get on a run. I get it. I'm not impressed so far, man. I'm really not. LeBron has already missed 5 or 6 games, and we talked about it. He's getting older. So, he'll go on his 2-week sabbatical, I'm sure, in February or whenever, right after the All-Star game. And AD's bounced back and had a pretty good year overall.
He's played well.
He's played really, really well, even though people on Twitter will tell you that AD is, basically Manute Bol.
Because they're comparing him to fucking Shaq. Like, it's like
this dude gets so much hate online.
It's ridiculous.
I don't understand it. Like, Anthony Davis is a great player. Yes, is he as aggressive as I would like him to be from game to game? I think it's just about his attitude. Like, AD's just a naturally just like chill dude. So I think that sometimes his personality carries over onto the court, and I think people kind of like, oh, he's too soft or he doesn't want to do. AD's not soft.
It's because he doesn't want to play the 5. He wants to play the 4. He wants to chill on the perimeter. He wants to shoot the basketball. He doesn't want to bang inside.
And that rubs people the wrong way. And listen, do I want him to play the 5 on more? Yes, I do. But I'm also someone that's like, use your guys to the best of their abilities and use their guys where they're most comfortable. And if AD is more comfortable at the 4, I'd use AD at the 4 and figure out the center situation. And you could figure out the center situation.
Man, I don't know, man. The only reason why I say that because the roster is currently constructed.
But see, that's my issue, right? The
Right.
roster is currently constructed. You're not able to get the best out of the players that you have,
Right.
because everybody's hodgepodge thrown together. Because we looked at sexy names instead of building a roster and building a team that actually contributes and helps each other and gels and
right.
You know, the roles are clearly defined.
As currently constructed, AD has to play the 5.
Exactly.
He has to play the 5.
Which and any move that hurts you on that level. So basically, you make the Russell Westbrook move, and by definition, now AD's worse because he's playing at the 5, a position he doesn't want to play it.
Right.
Now you could say he's being soft and he should just take it or whatever, but whatever. We're not him. He prefers to play the 4 for reasons. That's him. So you make a move that not only hurts you with Russell Westbrook, because we all know how Russell Westbrook plays the game, but it hurts you with AD because now he's playing out of position. That's not a great move. Right. That's not a great move.
I wouldn't say out of position, but your point is correct. I see what you're saying. I mean, and Russ is someone you have to kind of surround with shooters too. So even if you have AD at the 5, which is his best position, you're going to have LeBron off the ball pretty much, right? You're putting the ball in Russ's hands, or you're putting it in LeBron's hands. Now, if you put it in LeBron's hands, what is Russ doing?
Exactly. That's the point.
Right. If you put it in Russ's hands, LeBron's chilling on, without the ball, and he can play off ball. I think LeBron, is better off ball than people think they are. But then what about your other 2 players? Are they spreading the floor for Russell Westbrook? Are teams respecting them from 3? Malik Monk, maybe. Yeah. Wayne Ellington, sure. But like at the same time, are those the type of players you want out there during crunch time? Do you want a Kent Bazemore out there? So for me, I think it's a roster construction issue. I don't know how they're going to address it because Russ's contract is too big to move. I think the Lakers, for better or for worse, are stuck with Russ. I don't know who else they're going to be able to sign.
We said that about Washington last year. There's always a team, man. There's always a team. I don't believe guys can't get moved in the NBA. There's always a team. There's always a dumb GM out there. There's always a team that needs to shake it up. Right now, if you called Brooklyn, it was like, look, the Kyrie thing isn't working. We don't have that kind of mandate here in LA or in California. Kyrie for Russell, straight up. Would Brooklyn do it? Not saying should they or would Brooklyn do it?
I don't think so. I don't think there are many teams that want a piece of Russell Westbrook, if I'm being honest with you.
But the Kyrie thing continues to be a thing because it's like he's not playing.
I think he takes his chances about it. I think if I'm Sean Marks, I address my issues with the front court and maybe a little bit of shooting. I don't, and just rely on Harden and KD to get me there. I'm not putting the ball on.
So you're just paying Kyrie to stay home.
To me, I would rather do that than change the whole shape of my team. Yeah, I would.
It's wishful. I mean, obviously, as a Laker fan, I'm wishfully like, oh yeah, I'll take Kyrie in a heartbeat over fucking Russell Westbrook. But I honestly, I think there's a match there. I think if the Nets continue this kind of regular season,
they're I think they're second seed in the East right now.
They're the second seed in the East, but they haven't really
tied for first. But they haven't dominated. They haven't dominated.
Dominated. James Harden hasn't really played well. He's had moments.
He's playing better. He's playing better.
He's playing better now, but he's had his moments. He I don't know, man. I think if you're Sean Marks and you get to February, right? And now maybe they just look at it like, listen, we still have enough talent, and we make some minor moves here in the front court, address the front court issues, get a couple more shooters. We don't really need Kyrie. We're good. Or, if they're sitting there and it's February and the owner's like, yo, we're still paying this guy and he's not playing. Because that's the other thing too about trading a Kyrie. That's an ownership move. That's not necessarily a Sean, right? Anytime you're dealing a big player like that, that's not a GM move solely.
Right.
That's an ownership move.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe the owner just like, yo, we're paying this dude. He's sitting at home, cashing a check. Like, yo, let's get him out of here. Let's get somebody that's going to play, that's going to help us. And, and there's always like, oh, well, if he comes here and he's on a number 2 seeded team and it's in Brooklyn, he's playing, and him and KD can reunite and they're best friends again.
I don't think they want that. I don't think they want to be the Brooklyn Thunder, man. I don't think they want that.
Hey, man, stranger things have happened.
And then also, if you're the Lakers and Nets, you're trading with another team that you think you're potentially going to see in the finals. You don't want that move biting you in the ass.
That you're right. You're right. You're right about that. But that's the only thing. That's the only way I could see the Lakers getting out of the Russell Westbrook conundrum, because it's like I don't see any other team that's going to basically take Russell Westbrook off your hands. Maybe a team that's desperate.
They need to figure out a way to make it work. Vogel needs to figure out lineups. Corey mentioned Ariza way back in the comments. I think Ariza can help them out as well. I don't know how much he has left in the tank.
I mean,
Ariza's been in the league since 1954. So right. I don't know how good he's going to be.
Shout out to Trevor Ariza. The issue with the whole make it work is the definition of insanity is trying something over and over again and thinking that you're going to get different results. It's like, no, it is what it is. The roster crunch is what it is. Yeah. LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook don't fit together. They just don't. Really, if we're being honest, LeBron and AD really don't fit together, but they've made it.
They won a championship, man. It's hard to say.
No, but I'm saying,
yeah,
if on a technical basis, realistically, right, they don't really fit together. Now, LeBron and AD are so talented, and they actively try to make it work. Plus, they're so talented, they have other facets of their games, so their games are able to work, even though positionally speaking, they don't necessarily fit.
Right.
You don't have that with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is what he is.
Yeah.
So to me, to try to the only way I can see it working is if they say, okay, Russ, you're coming off the bench. Like, you're a 6-man. You're a guy that's just going to come in, move the second unit. You, Carmelo, on that second unit. That's the only way I can see it happening. Other than that, what's the rotation? What's the line? I don't think there's a rotation. I don't think there's a lineup that helps with that. And not to mention, and listen, everything is being poured on Russell Westbrook. Like, everything that all the Lakers' troubles are being poured on Russell Westbrook. I don't think Russell Westbrook's the issue with the defense. I think the defense is just really bad right now. And I think that goes beyond Russell Westbrook. Like, it's just, they have issues, man. They have issues.
Corey says, we all know AD has to play the 5 for this to work, and LBJ will be the 4 in that scenario, which, okay, so you have Russ at the 1. Who do you have as your 2 and 3? Like, that's my thing. Those, they better be shooters.
Well, you can have at the 3, I don't think you want Carmelo, right? No. So Carmelo's off the bench. So what? Malik Monk is at the 2.
And Avery Bradley's been awful. Like, the team has been awful with Avery Bradley on the 4 this year.
Yeah, he's a net negative. Yeah.
So, do you want Ariza? Like I said, I don't know what you're getting.
I don't know what you're getting.
Malik Monk is cool, but I think Malik's cool for like 15 minutes a game. I don't think he's cool to finish a game with.
Right.
Same with Kent Bazemore.
And this is why. And again, I've been accused of being an Alex Caruso stan, but this is why losing Caruso was such a huge. I said it in the summertime. I'm like,
yeah.
The Lakers' number 1 priority in free agency was to keep Alex Caruso.
What about Austin Reeves? Austin Reeves can be that glue guy.
I mean, he could be. He could be Caruso. I mean, they have similar play styles. I mean, are you asking Austin Reeves to do that right now as a rookie?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a lot to ask for. But
yeah,
you know, but that's what makes the Caruso not signing Caruso, allegedly not offering him a competitive offer. That's what makes that such a huge miss if I'm the Lakers, because it's like I if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm coming into the offseason this past offseason, I'm like, I got to keep Caruso. Oh, THT, but THT could be the 2. I keep forgetting about my boy THT.
Right, but is he spreading the floor?
Like, he's gotten better.
That's my thing. Like Corey just said, does it matter who the 2 and 3? It does matter. It absolutely does matter.
With Russell, it does. Yes.
Yeah. Because Russ is not spreading the floor. LeBron, as much as I love LeBron, I like with Russell Westbrook as your point guard, you need shooters, basically. And I'm not saying LeBron can't. Obviously, LeBron can shoot the 3, but he's not a shooter. And he's better with the ball in his hand. So now you're limiting LeBron and what he can do. It's just the lineups you can make work. Like you said, Manny, AD and LeBron has made it work. They won a championship together. I just don't know if this current Lakers roster as constituted is going to be able to work around everything you need to work around, because it's not just one thing you need to work around. You need to work around, LeBron not having the ball. That you need to work around If AD's playing the 4 or 5, then you have to work around Russell Westbrook not being able to shoot a perimeter jump shot. Then you have to work around, your roster not really having too many perimeter jump shooters. And ones who are perimeter jump shooters like Wayne Ellington, you're not going to leave on the floor for too long. It's just too much. It's too much,
right?
In my opinion.
Again, they've got a lot of pieces, but it's just like, how are you making all of these pieces work? You know what I mean? Like, how are you making all of this? It's like, it's like, oh, we want to make a meal, but you're not.
Right.
You have a bunch of different things, but
We'll
you're not. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just weird because it's like, okay, even if Corey, I'm willing to meet you there. That it doesn't matter who plays the 2 and the 3. Okay, Russell's play style, he's going to attack the rim, right? He's going to attack the rim consistently. 90% of the time, he's going to attack the rim, right? Okay, what does AD do? What does LeBron do? They just stand around and just watch. It's weird. It's clunky. Yeah. It's not an ideal fit. It really isn't. And I think that's the problem. And I think they knew this and they made the trade anyway because they were hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. They were hoping that, if we have enough stars, we'll just figure it out. And it's like, it's trying to build a lot of NBA teams and NBA GMs have fallen under this trap. Like, we just get a bunch of stars together. Don't worry about fit. Don't worry about, the roster alongside of them. We just throw things together and that's it. It'll work. And it's like, no, you have to build a team. You have to build a team and players that complement each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think this roster was constructed at all with any thought in mind of that. I think, LeBron, AD, and Russ probably got together and was like, we can make it work by doing X, Y, Z, and probably have their own plans in mind, but also like the other players on the court matter, your bench matter, how vocal coaches you like. This all matters. You can't just throw talent on a team and expect it to win every single time.
I'm hearing, Vogel needs to be fired. Like, Frank Vogel's not the problem.
No, maybe they'll make it work. I mean, it's early. I just don't know what the lineup looks like, and I don't know what that style of play looks like right now. That's all.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, listen, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm hoping, I'm praying that it works. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Because even the whole like, LeBron and AD they had dinner and they said it would work. Okay, great. That's wonderful. The execution is the thing. It's like, and again, it's like if Russell Westbrook could change the way he played, it'd be one thing. But no, he is who he is. So it's not changing. He has no other level to go to. He's been in the league how long? 10, 11 years? All of a sudden he's not going to develop a jump shot. If he hasn't developed it in 11 years, all of a sudden he's going to now become, Damian Lillard. Like, he's not.
We'll see.
Anything else from the NBA that's catching? The Knicks. Listen, I did a therapy session with my Lakers. How about your Knicks?
I think the Knicks are a little bit above average. I think they're an average team. I think their hot start kind of fooled a little bit. A lot of Knicks fans, maybe including myself. You beat the Sixers, you beat the Celtics, you beat the Bulls on the road, you beat the Bucks. But I do think their losses at home to like the Magic twice, the Cavs, like that's concerning to me. And when I watch the starting unit play, they're still trying to figure each other out. The ball either sticks or it moves for no reason. It's a weird offense to watch. They're not as good defensively. Tibbs, every game, it just seems like he's ending with a different lineup. The rotation's a little different. People are coming off the bench at different times. So they're still in the process of like kind of experimenting. They have a lot of different pieces. And to me right now, they're just not that good of a basketball team, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think they're bad by any means. But their offense doesn't really seem to make sense. They're shooting threes like insane. And it's not like we have sharpshooters out the ass. Like Fournier can shoot the three. Don't get me wrong. Quickly can shoot the three, and Kemba every once. But it's not like we're built like the Warriors or anything like that.
Yeah, you're not a team full of shooters.
Yeah, and the threes that they're taking are like off the dribble or flat footed. It's not like drive and kick threes, good shots that are open. They're bad threes. So that's kind of bothering me as well. So I trust Thibs to kind of get it together. Last year it was the same kind of thing. They were 500 for most of the season. They went like on a huge winning streak at the end, got the 4 seed. So I think that's possible, but I think Knicks fans have to temper their expectations because this team probably is just a little bit above average. They'll be in most games. They'll play hard, but they haven't figured anything out at all. And we're just talking about the Lakers trying to figure it out. I think the Knicks are a little more lost for the simple fact that what AD gives you, what Russ gives you, what LeBron gives you. With the Knicks, it's kind of like Julius is, his second team All NBA season was last year. That's the only time he's ever really done that. Kemba, you're not really sure what he's going to give you because he's kind of hurt, and there's a lot of question marks with the Knicks and how they should be running an offense and what these players are going to give you. So Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of fascinating to watch from a basketball perspective. Removing emotion from it, just watching them play. But most of the time when I'm watching them play, it just looks sloppy. So hopefully they'll tighten it up. We'll see.
I think the Knicks will be fine.
Yeah.
I think they fooled a lot of people with that early start, and I think that now things are kind of there's a little bit of a market correction going
Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
think they'll be fine. I don't. I'm not. I wouldn't listen. I think a lot of Knick fans are hoping and praying something to fruition. They're speaking something into fruition that isn't there. You know, I think a lot of Knick fans are thinking like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're a championship team now." Like, no, slow down.
People
Slow
thought
down.
that. No,
You're. Oh, I know. I listen. I got
people
Knick
thought that.
fans as family members. I know this.
Yeah, they thought
Listen,
that. They thought that
The
they
Knicks,
can win the East. I'm like, relax. Yeah.
yeah, the Knicks are a good, solid basketball
Yeah.
team. They're well
Slightly above
coached,
average. Slightly above average.
but solid team. They're a good,
Yeah.
solid team. They're a second. They highest ceiling is probably a second round
Right.
team. Maybe if everything breaks right, a conference final. Maybe catch the right opponent. Whatever. Right.
Right.
That's it. That's the ceiling right now. They're
Yeah.
still the way I look at the Knicks is they're building something.
Right.
Now, what that something is, we don't know yet, right? But they're still in that trajectory of they're building something. So, they're still not there yet. They're not there with a Milwaukee. They're not there with, an Atlanta or Philly or Miami or whoever. They're not
Right.
there yet. They're on that. They're on the cusp. They're there. I think they'll be fine. And I also think the thing about the Knicks as well is like last year was one of those Cinderella type of years where everything broke right.
Yeah.
Julius Randle became a star. Emmanuel quickly, this guy that teams passed on.
COVID.
You got him, and COVID. I mean, all
Injuries,
these things, injuries broke right. Everything. I mean, Derrick Rose found the fountain of youth again.
Right.
I mean, all these things happened, and you were able to withstand the injury to Mitchell Robinson, and Nerlens Noel played well, and all these things happened. So they really like a Cinderella team where everything broke right, and then it's like next year it's like, oh, okay, we're not hitting those threes as we used to last year. Oh God, we're not having these magical comebacks that we had last year because everything broke right. So now there's a little bit of a market correction. Right. So are the Knicks that 4 seed team that we saw last year, or are they a little bit more kind of a 6, 7 seed?
I think they're 6, 7
type of team.
Yeah.
No,
I think any Knick fan that's honest with themselves and watches, knows the game of basketball will tell you that. As right now, we've seen what they can be. They, like I said, beating the Bulls and beating the Sixers with Embiid. It wasn't like they were the team they are now without Embiid, and Tobias Harris has missed a few games. No, they were fully healthy aside from Ben Simmons. Beating the Bucks on the road, even though they didn't have Middleton. Like these are the Celtics at home. Like these are solid wins. So they have the ability to beat these teams. It's just putting it all together consistently, and they haven't been able to do that. So
you mentioned the roster issues or the lineup issues, I should say. What do you what would you like to see? What do you think is the best lineup?
See, that's the thing. I don't even know if I'm being honest with you. The starting lineup hasn't really learned how to play together. I do think, to maximizing talent, I do think Evan Fournier needs to be in at the end of games. He's played 1 fourth quarter in the past 6 games. Thibodeau hasn't put him in because he hasn't trusted him because he hasn't played well in the first quarter. And I'm someone I don't necessarily agree with that. Just because I think someone starts the game off slow doesn't mean you have to punish him at the end of the game.
Right.
I think Thibodeau needs to trust Evan and give him some time in the fourth quarter, and see what he does with that time. I like Alec Burks off the bench. I like Toppin off the bench. I think Toppin should play more minutes. I think we should have a small ball lineup with him at the 5, but Tibbs refuses to do that. He doesn't want to play him and Julius together. I like Emmanuel quickly. It's just kind of hard finding him minutes because, you have Kemba and D Rose there. So sometimes he plays a lot of minutes at the 2, which means you're small in the backcourt, which kind of compromises you defensively, even though Quickly is a good defender. So I don't know. I don't know what those lineups look like. If I'm
see, I think they need to put Quickly in the starting lineup. I like
people have been saying that, but I don't have really beefs with Kemba right now. I think Kemba's been playing decently, and until he starts kind of falling off, I don't know where you could kind of fit him in.
Yeah, Kemba hasn't really played that well.
He hasn't played bad though. He hasn't played bad though. Yeah,
but the thing with Kemba is the contract. It's like for a guy that you're paying that much money, it's like.
Yeah, and RJ Barrett has to play better. That's another thing. RJ hasn't been playing well.
I'm really disappointed in RJ, man, because I thought RJ by now would be he's not bad, but I mean, this was a guy that, listen, I'm a Duke fan, so I can never say a bad word about RJ. But RJ just hasn't really played up to that level, because I thought at Duke RJ was phenomenal. I thought he was going to be a star. I mean, this is a guy that people were calling the Canadian Kobe. Like,
right.
this is
the Maple Mamba.
This is the Maple Mamba, right? Like, so
Yep.
people have these expectations of him, and he hasn't had a bad career, but he just hasn't had that. He's not a superstar. Right. And I think that you put that superstar label on guy. In a lot of ways, he's kind of Andrew Wiggins. Remember what Andrew Wiggins was when he was in Minnesota, where he's like, he had all this hype and all this, and it's like he never really quite lived up to that. Yeah. But he goes to another team where he doesn't have that pressure and that label. I think Canadians. I think that's what RJ will be. I really do. I think it. But I think he's been fine. I mean, he's averaging 15.3 a game, so he's been okay.
No, but Knicks fans wanted him to average 20 this year. This was a year he was.
And I agree with that. I think that was a very important year for him to really kind of take that mantle and be like not just a building block, but like the guy. And he hasn't really done that. So, listen, I think Quickly should start. The Kemba. I didn't understand the Kemba move, because you had Derrick Rose and you had Quickly already. So I didn't really understand the Kemba thing. The Kemba thing just kind of seemed redundant. I think it was just getting a name for the sake of getting a name, instead of like, okay, what is this? Is this a good basketball move? Yeah. So I didn't really understand that. But I think Quickly should start. I think they need to figure out a lineup for him to start. I agree with you on Fournier. I think he should finish late in the games. Tibbs is really old school like that, man. You know how Tibbs is. Tibbs comes from
I'm not liking his rotations, man.
Tibbs comes from that Van Gundy school of thought, with like, you fuck up in the first quarter, like, oh, okay, you're in purgatory.
That gives me some high school PTSD, man. That's how my coach was. I hated that shit, man.
And to a point, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because you are building trust, that you could trust these players in these certain situations. But it's like, at the same time,
but a player also has to be on the court comfortable, not like, every moment, like thinking like, if I miss this, I'm not going to play. Like, they have to be comfortable. But it's Evan Fournier, as someone you signed as, like, he was the big free agent acquisition. He just was. We gave him the most money anyone we gave this off season. He's starting at the 3. Like, you have to be able to trust him, and he has to be able to know that you trust him too, or else he's going to go into the first quarter, and if he misses 2 shots, his mind's going to be elsewhere, and he's not going to be playing. Like, that's like the mental aspect of it, to me, it means a lot. And to me, like, a lot of these old school coaches just have that completely backwards. And I think Tibbs is one of those coaches. I don't agree with the way he's handling Fournier at all.
Listen, you're not wrong. And I completely agree with you 100%. I think it's just an ego thing, because, okay, yeah, he fucks up in the first quarter, but at the same time, your job is to win the game, and you need to put the best players on the court that help you win the game. So can an argument be made that you have a better shot winning the game with Fournier on the bench or Fournier playing? That's the issue. That's the conversation that you need to have yourself. It's an ego thing, man. It's an ego thing, because I think coaches sometimes they get caught up in these, like, again, ego trips, right? Oh, he fucked up in the first quarter, I can't trust him. It's like, no, but that's not indicative that he's going to fuck up in the fourth quarter, right? Just because
or not even just fucking up. He didn't have an impact. He didn't have an impact in the first quarter. Like,
but there's a lot of players that don't have an impact in the first quarter, but then it doesn't always add up.
I think you combine the fact that Alec Burks kind of plays the same position that he does, and Alec has been playing really well off the bench, and Tibbs is just comfortable riding Alec in the fourth quarter. I mean, he basically won us the game against the last game against the Rockets, which is kind of sad to say. Like, if it wasn't for him, we would have lost to the Rockets, but it's true. So I think that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, and Alec Burks is one of those guys that's earned the trust. So, I get it. Listen, I think the Knicks will be fine. I think the Knicks have a lot of pieces right now, and they're kind of, in a way, they're kind of similar to the Lakers. They have a lot of pieces, but they don't know what to really do with them. I think they need a trade to kind of maybe alleviate some of they don't have a big roster crunch situation like the Lakers do. I mean, the Lakers have a Lego situation.
The Knicks are deep. But they have like defined roles for everybody on the team, where you're not going to get your
that's what I like. That's what I like about the Knicks. I feel like, but they have defined roles, but you know how it is. You know, I'm a big believer in this. Sometimes you can have too many pieces. Like sometimes
Yeah.
as a coach, you have too many options, and it just becomes this like muddled. Like, okay, do I go with Fournier? Do I go with Burks? Oh, okay, Burks is playing better now, so I won't go with Fournier, even though Fournier is a more talented player. Oh, do I go with this guy? I got Rose. I got Quickly. I got this. I mean, like, sometimes you can just have. Sometimes when you give these coaches too many pieces, they just like they lose it.
Right.
Instead of just like, hey, I've got all these pieces. Let me figure out the best role each and of them have. They just kind of like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like coaches get weird like that, man. But I think the Knicks will be fine. I think the Knicks will be fine. I wouldn't, if I'm a Knicks fan, if I'm a sane Knicks fan, I would not worry too much about it. I think the Knicks at the end of the day will be there anywhere between the 4 and the 7 seed. They'll be there. I think the Knicks will be fine as long as you pretty much avoid the playing game or the playing tournament. You'll be fine. You've had a successful season.
I agree,
and it'll be fine.
I agree.
Yeah, look at me with that. Look at me, the voice of positivity. I just buried the Lakers. I just buried the Lakers. I just buried. Trade everybody. I buried the Lakers. Right? It's easy to be the voice of positivity when it's not your team.
Well, the difference is the Knicks don't have the championship aspirations. Like if going into the season we thought the Knicks were going to win the championship, or fans were saying that, or like there was an expectation the Knicks were going to win the championship, we'd all be ripping the Knicks right now. But the expectations were first round, second round, and it looks like that's what they're going to be.
Yeah. And again, going back to the Lakers, man, it's like all the things that we said was going to happen, they've happened. 15 games in,
right?
They don't really fit. The defense looks terrible. They've looked old at times, old and slow. Like we all said this. It's like no one minced words about it. Like we all said this shit. So yeah. Anything else on the NBA side of things? That
Knicks Lakers Tuesday.
Yes, Knicks Lakers Tuesday. That's
gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
that's gonna be two teams trying to lose the game to each other.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
That's gonna be fun.
I've got the Knicks winning.
I have the Lakers winning. That's funny.
Yeah, we'll see.
Look at us, man. We hate our fucking teams. We have no trust in our teams.
I hate my team. I literally watch the Lakers with disgust. I can't stand. I hate the trade. I hate it. I've never. You know me. You know how I feel about Russell Westbrook. I hate it, and it sucks because I love the Lakers, right? And I hate watching my team feeling like
I don't like the Knicks. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like if the way I judge the team is if like I take myself out. I'm like, if I wasn't a fan of this team, would I like watching this team play basketball? And with the Knicks, they're hot and cold with me. It's sometimes I do and sometimes I don't like them. Like they're very bipolar to me. They're very frustrating to watch. So I don't know if I like my team either.
That 20 team, like you know why I don't like this team? Because I think this team is all of like the worst habits of LeBron and Maverick Carter and Rich Paul. Like the worst. Like, okay, we have a team and it's like, oh, it just becomes LeBron world where everything is about placating LeBron and feeding his ego and getting players that fit LeBron and do all this other stuff instead of like, okay, let's build a roster, let's build a team with LeBron in it. But it makes sense. Like I feel like, and we had this conversation in the summer. I was like, what are the additions to the Lakers? And I'm like, honestly, I don't feel like the Lakers should just completely overhaul it. Like, let's be honest. Last year was a tale of two seasons. When the Lakers were healthy, they had the best record in basketball. Then they got hurt. Then
once LeBron went hurt, it was over.
It was over, right? Yeah. And then of course we had a 2-1 lead against the Suns. A 2-1 lead, and we were winning by 11 when AD got hurt, missed the entire series. If AD plays at 75% of what he was, we beat the Suns. I'm convinced we do.
I agree. You just need a minor tweak to the roster. You didn't need to overhaul the damn thing.
But they took that and they were like, oh no, we got to blow it up now. Now we gotta let Caruso go. We gotta trade Kuzma. We gotta do this and we gotta do that. And now it's like
when all you needed to do was add Buddy Hield. That's all you needed to do.
We could have kept Caruso, added Buddy Hield, we could have added. You could have still added Dwight Howard if you wanted to, right? Made a couple of the shrewd little moves here and there, and you still would have the same, and you'd fit better. That's the
honestly problem. Even like, and you may not like this because I don't think he played well with you, but even like a Reggie Bullock was a free agent. 3-and-D.
I advocated for signing Reggie Bullock.
I mean, he would have been perfect.
I wasn't even anti bringing back Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, especially at the discount you would have got him at. Yeah,
because I was one that said, okay, Schroeder paid well in pockets for us.
Right.
again, before COVID, he was playing well. Then he got COVID. Then he came back, and then he played still pretty well. And then he got COVID a second time, and that's what really basically ate his season, and he was terrible in the postseason. But that's the problem. These GMs sometimes, I really feel like no sport more than basketball. I feel like these GMs operate like fans. Like fans, they look at the game and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, Dennis Schroeder had a bad series. Get him out of here." And then he wants 84 million. Get it out of here.
Right.
Instead of like, no, looking at it as a whole, like, what did Dennis Schroeder do for the Lakers last year? He had a 25, 30 game stretch where he played really, really well. Really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got COVID, and he came back, and he wasn't the same, but he was still pretty good. And then he got COVID again. So we're just going to ignore the like 50 plus games that he played well, and the 2 weeks in the postseason that's it. That's all we're going to like. It's stupid.
It is stupid. I agree.
I hate it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Like it just drives me insane.
Oh man.
Russell Westbrook's on my team. And tonight, Isaiah Stewart. Oh God. Jesus. I was actually Isaiah Stewart, man. Hey, listen. That's the guy you don't want to fuck with.
Nope.
See, we watch a sport where there's a lot of fake tough guys, Russell Westbrook being one of them. There's a lot of fake tough guys in the sport, guys that pump their chest out and they pretend like they want to fight, but then when some shit breaks down, they don't. Yeah. Isaiah Stewart is developing a reputation. Like, nah, man, you don't want that smoke. You don't want that. He was ready. He was like, fuck that. I don't care if it's LeBron. I don't care. He was ready. It's sad. This is how much I hate the Lakers. It brought a smile to my face. Like, it brought a smile.
Well, now there are people are like, well, this is going to bring them closer together. This is what they need.
Oh yeah, this is what they need. Yeah, this is going to make Russell Westbrook make better basketball decisions. This is going to make Russell Westbrook shoot the ball better. This is going to make LeBron not take a 2-week sabbatical. This is going to make AD play the 5 better. Like, yeah, that's all we need. Isaiah Stewart trying to kill the whole franchise. Got it. Hey, man. It is what it is. Let's move on from our teams. Anything else in the NBA anything else from the NBA that stands out, man?
No, not really. I think the East is interesting. You have the Bulls, the Wizards that are up there now for some reason. The Hawks, got off to a slow start.
Do you think those teams have lasting power?
I think the Bulls do. I think the Wizards are a playoff team for sure, but I think they're like the Knicks, where it's like 6, 7, 8 seed.
I kind of see the Wizards where the Knicks were last year, a team that like, everything is breaking right. They got a lot of guys who are hungry, discarded from other teams, and they're making it work.
I think healthy Miami is ridiculous. I think they're really freaking good. I think they might be. They're in the conversation in my mind. I think the Nets are naturally in the conversation with their talent. I think Milwaukee has to be in that conversation in the East, but I think Miami's that third team. And then starting the next tier is the Bulls.
I don't. There's something about Miami I don't love.
They're good, man.
They're
freaking
good.
Don't
get me wrong. They're good. They're really good. But I don't know. Something about Miami. They kind of remind me of like the 07, 08 Pistons. That they have a ceiling. And they run up against a hot team and a great player. I think that team is going to beat them. I don't know. It's weird. It's not like really like groundbreaking analysis here. I don't know. I don't love that team. I think they get into a postseason series.
I think a lot of problems with the Heat is that the fact that Jimmy Butler's their best player. And I think a lot of people think there's a certain ceiling you have with Jimmy Butler as your best player.
That's my issue.
Yeah. When you're going against KD in the playoffs, when you're going against Giannis in the playoffs, doesn't matter how well you move the basketball, how good of defense you play. At the end of the day, you need somebody who's going to make plays for your team or create their own shot. And Jimmy can do that. But are you really relying on him over KD, over Giannis?
And it's a team full of Jimmy Butlers. That's the thing. Because it's like Jimmy Butler,
I love him.
Kyle Lowry's, and
Tyler Hero's he's back, man. He got his swag back. I don't know where he found it, but he found it.
Oh, yay. The Tyler Heroes.
Those jerseys are flying off the shelves again, baby.
Yay. The great white hope, Tyler Hero. Yeah. Listen, Miami's got a good chance. I like them. There's just something about that team that just doesn't.
They can win the East, man. I'm not saying that. I'm not picking them to win the East, but they can win the East. And the Bulls, I'm still kind of deciding. I don't think the Bulls are there yet, but
I actually like the Bulls more than I like the Heat. I know that may be a hot take, but actually,
I don't think it's a hot take. I think you can make that argument. I just think defensively, Miami's better. So I'd rather take them.
Defensively Miami's better, yes. But
Yeah.
I like that. I've been impressed with the Bulls. And I had my question marks about them. I didn't believe the hype. I didn't think the Bulls would be there. But I really like maybe it's my love for Caruso. But I think the Bulls are scary, man. If they stay healthy and they figure out the only thing about them is that they're young together. Like that's a young team that hasn't been to it together.
Yeah.
But DeRozan has played inspired. That's another guy that the Lakers could have had, but they decided not to. But won't bring that up again. DeRozan, Caruso, Lonzo's playing really, really well.
I love Lonzo, man. I'm so happy for him.
Listen, I'm so happy for Lonzo, man. This is a guy that people had out the league. He was a bust. He's this. His dad. We don't like him because of his dad. I mean, think about it. I don't like somebody because of his dad. Okay, got it. That makes him bad. That makes him a bad basketball player. Got it.
Yeah,
he's
love his game.
I love his game. Listen, he's Rondo with a 3-point shot. He's a 6'7" Rajon Rondo.
Right. Can play defense.
Rondo in his prime.
Better defender. He's a better defender than Rondo.
Better on ball defender. He's bigger. He's more athletic. He's physical. And he's got a 3-pointer now. Remember when they said he couldn't shoot? Never going to figure it out.
Like 44% from the 3-point range this year. It's crazy.
Listen, man. I love how we love to pigeonhole these kids. I'm honestly happy for him, man, because he took a lot of shit for a long time from people unfairly, and he and you know what I liked about that kid? He never ever said anything. Never said anything. He never publicly said anything. He never made it a big deal. He just took it. Yeah, and that shows me something about that kid.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I think Milwaukee's going to be there at the end. I really like Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's better this year. I think they got to get healthy. The Grayson Allen move, that was a quiet, underrated move.
I like Grayson, man.
That's another guy.
I hate to admit it. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he fits perfectly with that team.
Some guys are just basketball players, man. Yeah. You know how in baseball they say he's a baseball? Like, some guys are just basketball players, man. They just do everything right. They just anything you want them to do, they can do it. Any role you want them to play, they can play it.
The Bucks have all those, like Pat Connaughton,
Bryn Forbes, and but
they're gonna miss PJ, man. But PJ Tucker was big for them.
They do miss PJ, but I think you could find another PJ Tucker guy like that at the trade deadline. Like you could find another guy like that.
I agree.
But I think Milwaukee, people laugh because the Bryn Forbes and the Grayson, but those guys, that's what I say. Like that's a fabric of a really good team. When you have guys that have defined roles that do a little bit of everything that help you win. And that's what the Lakers don't really have.
Right.
That's the problem. So yeah, I think the East is interesting. You can honestly say that the East is probably better than the West for the first time in 25 years.
They have a better record against it. Head to head, they have a better record right now. Since 2000. Since 2000. And even 2000 was a blip in the radar because the West was better than before that for like a few years. No, 2010, I think. No, 2010 was a blip in the radar. The East had a better record against the West. Right. But before that, it was like 1999.
Honestly, since 1998, the West has dominated the East. And it's not even, or since 1999, the West has dominated.
Since Jordan left the Bulls.
Since Jordan left the Bulls, which is another demerit why Jordan's ago, but we're not going to go there. Listen, it's going to be interesting. What about the West? What do you think about the Clippers?
I think if Kawhi comes back and learns how to coexist with Paul George, I think they're very dangerous. I think they're a sleeper team.
I thought Kawhi is ruled out coming back this year.
No, maybe he is. I don't know. Last I've seen, he's not ruled out. I mean, without Kawhi, I don't think they have the ceiling of winning the West. But with Kawhi, him and Paul George really haven't figured out a way how to coexist to maximize each other's abilities because they're a lot like the same.
They're the same.
So like they're very redundant. I don't know how you figure that out. I don't know what you do. I don't think Reggie Jackson's. I like Reggie as a player. I mean, I think he's found a new life there in Los Angeles, but I don't think he's the type of point guard to bring it out in both of them. So I think they could have used Alonzo Ball to be. We're just talking about Alonzo. I think Alonzo would have been perfect for the Clippers.
I don't understand why they didn't get him. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I just think with Kawhi out, it's just pretty much showing how good Paul George really is. I know he gets a lot of slack.
How good Tyronn Lue is as a coach. Listen, that's a guy that I shitted on. Listen,
me too.
LeBron's puppet. This guy's an idiot. And listen, is he Phil Jackson? Is he Larry Brown? No, I don't want anybody to get delusions of that. But he's a good coach, and he's proven it.
Yeah. No,
He's
you're
proven
right.
it.
He has.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I think the Clippers, the thing with the Clippers is that they're very limited still. I think the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George thing is still a problem because they don't, people look at the names, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, just throw them out there and just because people have been fooled and convinced that, oh, positionless basketball, just throw guys out there
Right.
and they'll all fake it. Like, no, you still have to have defined roles and
Right.
players that complement each other, not are just redundancies of each other.
Right.
And that's the thing with LeBron, with Kawhi and Paul George. You can make the argument that Paul George is a better version of Kawhi, or Kawhi is a better version of Paul George. Like
But they're the
that's
same.
not saying they're the same.
If I were to describe both of their games, you would think I'm talking about the same player. Like literally the same player. Very good on the defensive end, can guard, big guards, is a big guard himself who can shoot from the perimeter, take you off the dribble, under control, but can finish at the rim at the same time with power, with grace. They're the same exact player.
Exactly.
The same player.
Paul George is a little bit bigger and he's a better
Right.
perimeter shooter. That's the only thing that
Kawhi's,
you can honestly
Kawhi's
say.
a better on-ball defender. But
Kawhi's a better
they're
on-ball defender. Kawhi's more consistent when it comes to taking over games.
Right. I'll give Kawhi the nod in that. But Paul's a little more athletic, slightly, because Kawhi, I think, has some sneaky athleticism.
I think Kawhi's probably a little bit more athletic.
You think so?
Just Paul George is bigger, but Kawhi's more. I look at Kawhi as more explosive.
Okay.
At his peak, when he's fully healthy, Kawhi to me is more explosive. But again, it's just we're splitting hairs here. They're the same player.
Yeah,
they're literally the same player.
Yeah.
It's like they're just the same player.
Yeah.
When I look at Kawhi and Paul George, it reminds me of Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell. Remember when the Knicks tried to make that work forever, and we loved it, and we loved it. Yeah, they made the finals, and it was a different time too. But it was like it was a different. But it was like they never really fit because they're kind of the same player. It's like they play the same thing, they do the same things mostly. One is better at one thing, the others are better at the other. But for the most part, they're still the same player, and it's like they just haven't made that thing work, man. But the NBA season is going to be interesting. The NBA season is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I think that with the Nets kind of, again, they're still leading the East, so I don't want to say stumbling out of the gate, but not being as dominant as I think we would have hoped. I think it's going to make it to be a fun regular season because I don't think that you have, the Nets aren't going to go on that Warrior run where it's just like, okay, just hand them the title. Even the Warriors, we just played as the Warriors, but can we realistically, are you going to go to Vegas right now, basically mortgage your whole future? Like, yep, they're winning a championship this year. A lot of things can happen still. Yeah. So
they're my pick to win. So, but right now, if you do water gun to the head,
they're my pick to win it right now too. So, let's move on and wrap up the show real quick here. Let's run through some items real quick. Hey, we made history this week. If you didn't realize, Josh, made history. Kamala Harris is technically president. We technically have a female president.
We did it. Sexism is over.
Guys. Sexism is over. Racism is over. We've cured cancer. We haven't fixed student loan debt, and we haven't fixed healthcare. And
doesn't matter.
We haven't fixed poverty, and we haven't fixed the education system and the justice system, and all of these things that are still pressing issues in our country. But hey, Madam President.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yeah. It's history making. I shed a tear. Yeah. Literally the second that Biden got the laughing gas, I shed a tear. It was like it was something internally inside of me that just made me oh my God. These are special moments, man. Special moments. Yeah, Kawhi. Yeah. Oh, and hey, have you watched the Pete documentary?
I can't believe you're asking that question. No, I have not watched the Pete. I have no plans of watching that whatsoever.
Oh my God, Pete!
I hope it gets a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Listen, I heard it's worth the price of admission just because Pete Buttigieg is everything that we think he is, and the documentary all but confirms it. So just alone, it's worth watching.
You know what's scary?
I want to hate watch it.
I want to hate watch it too. But if Biden doesn't run again in 2024, we might be looking at the Democratic nominee.
He's not
in that
going
documentary.
anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Listen, I you know why he's not going anywhere? Because I think you I'm trying to figure out how to say this, man. People are easily fooled when it comes to politics, but I still think the time-honored tradition of people recognize what shit is when they see it, and I think that they see shit in people to judge, and they see, and definitely Kamala. Like
Bro,
Kamala's
we
never
elected.
fooled
This
anybody.
country has elected Donald Trump. I don't believe a single thing that people can see shit.
Hey, that's a whole. Listen, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother argument.
Yeah.
I'm on the left side. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Fair.
I think I just think Buttigieg and Kamala, they're kind of the same. They're empty vessels, empty suits that they say a lot of fluffy things but don't really say anything. They don't stand for anything. They're the same.
Yeah.
They're identitarian candidates, but they offer nothing substantive.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, people see through that. Most people.
The left.
The wine moms and Burbank probably don't.
But then they win the Democratic nomination, so it's like not enough people see through it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I don't think that either one of them will go. I think Kamala will go farther because she has the vice presidency. So I think that will give her an added boost. But I don't think Pete, like the issues that Pete Buttigieg had connecting 4 years ago, or at that time it will be 4 years ago, I don't think they fixed themselves. I don't think black people look at Pete Buttigieg any different now than they did. I don't think people that were, plus you still have a raging side of the left that are going to be like, fuck that for both of them.
Yeah.
At least and they don't, what's not going to help both of them? They don't have the boogeyman aspect. Right? They don't have that rallying point. Like Biden had that rallying point where it's like, oh, we got to beat Trump. They don't have that this time around. I don't think so. I don't think
so either. I don't think he is either. I think you can make a boogeyman out of DeSantis. I think you can make it work.
It's not going to work, man. It's not going to work.
I think the Democrats are in trouble in 2024. To be completely honest, to be honest, every time I run the simulation in my head, they end up losing.
I think they're in trouble because I think DeSantis is Trump, but more sophisticated.
He's a sophisticated Trump we've been talking about for sure.
But I don't think they can paint him the same way. Because
honestly, I think here's the thing. I think he's easy to paint him that way. This is the problem, Manny, and I think you and I maybe disagree on this. The problem is that half the country doesn't give a shit. We can talk all you want about the Democratic Party not being able to put together a viable candidate. The fact of the matter is there are still 70 million people in this fucking country who are still going to consciously go to a voting booth and vote for Ron DeSantis if he's the nominee. That's the problem. I understand the Democratic Party sucks. I understand that they don't put forth candidates that are worth voting for, and the party as a whole has a lot of work to do. But the fact that the people look at two candidates and still choose that other option, to me, is not so much an indictment of the Democratic Party as it is an indictment of the actual people making those decisions. Because it's fucking crazy to me that they would even go to a booth and vote for that. That's more of a problem to me.
Listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know that. I disagree. I think people. I think, and I don't disagree in what you're saying. I think that painting Trump as this ultimate villain, I think only works to a point. But I think people kind of see like, okay, well, Trump said some stupid things and did some mean things, but really was he this like unique evil compared to like Ronald Reagan or George W. Bush?
No, he just said the quiet part out loud. That's all it was.
That's all he did was just he just said the quiet part out loud. And I think that people who are sophisticated, the you or eyes of the world see that. And it's like, and I think that only works so far. That only goes so fast. Plus, I think 2024. Plus, I always hate when we compare like, compare 2016 to 2020 or 2020 to 2024. Right. 4 years is a long time, and the country changes a lot in 4 years, man.
Yeah.
And what animates people in one election may not animate people in another. And it's totally different. So
who knows what the culture war thing is going to be? I mean, we had no idea. If you would have said in 2019 or 2018 about the 2020 election that COVID would be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think COVID's going to be a thing by 2024. I think it'll be something totally different.
It'll be some culture war bullshit. But my thing is, it's like
it'll be the economy. It'll be the after effects of COVID.
Yeah.
And
where we are.
where we are. If
And
things continue, if things continue like this, yeah, I don't.
But my thing is like, and you're right, by the way, like we should hold Biden administration accountable 1000%. Like there's no excuse for anything. But my thing again is also like when you look at two options and like you're willing to look at a, let's just say it's Mayor Pete or Kamala, or just for the sake of argument, and you're able to look at Pete and you're able to look at Kamala and you're able to see through the bullshit and you're able to see through the phoniness and recognize this is bullshit. But then you look at a DeSantis and you're not willing to acknowledge the bullshit and you're not willing to acknowledge the phoniness and you go and vote for that phoniness, knowing damn well it's phony. That's my beef. To me, that's a huge problem in this country.
But it's no different than you saying the same thing on our side. It's like you see both of them are shit, but you're willing to vote for the shit on your side. It's like it's the same thing.
No, it's like someone on the other side could say the same exact thing, but to me, I don't think it's an objective thing which side is worse. I don't think a subjective thing. To me, that's not subjective. It's not. I'm sorry. There's like literally one party that tried to take over the government and had their citizens threaten to hang the vice president and tried to delegitimize an election in our democracy. Like this is not the same thing. We have one party that won't do anything for its citizens. We have another party that's actively trying to ruin democracy. Like with proof. This is not like a conspiracy.
I think both sides are uniquely bad.
They are,
and that's where we disagree.
They both suck.
It's like literally arguing cancer and diabetes.
Yeah, but cancer.
What do you want to die for?
I would rather have diabetes.
Somebody who has diabetes may argue with you. That's the thing, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, how do you really?
I don't know. To me, there's
AIDS and cancer.
No, I get it.
One or the other. It's like,
I get it.
You know,
one's more terminal than the other, though. And I'm sorry. Like I just don't think. I think we do a disservice when we put them both on the same level, because they aren't at all. They aren't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're not.
Oh man, I wish we had time to go into it. It's not my alley. No. But no, I just congratulations to Madam President. That's all I wanted to say. Congratulations. You have touched the world in so many different levels.
Yeah.
All the young black men that you put in prison over the years.
God.
I'm sure they all have a tear in their eyes right now because you became president. Sure. As they sit through their shit sandwich in prison and do their manual labor and whatnot.
All the moms arrested for truancy.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah. They all collectively let out a yes, queen.
God, they suck, man. Kamala sucks.
God, she sucks ass. What do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse?
So, my perspective on this is, I'm not going to argue the legality of it. I just think it's crazy. We live in a society where someone can have an AR-15 in the middle of a protest and try to dictate what goes on in that protest. Like that to me, that's fucking crazy. I'm someone who's marched in multiple Black Lives Matter protests, and the thought that someone can just show up to a protest with AR-15 and not be seen as a threat, like it's wild to me that people on the internet or his supporters like can't fathom how people thought he was a threat. Like, how do you? The man shows up in opposition to a civil rights protest with an AR-15, and you don't think people are going to react to that?
Yeah.
Like you don't think that's inciting violence? You don't think that's inciting anything? Like, what do you?
Gosh,
I don't care.
He's got the complexion for protection, man.
It's insane. I don't care that Wisconsin's an open carry state. Like if I'm protesting and I see someone with an AR-15 strapped around their chest, I'm not in my head going, "Oh, well, it's an open carry state, so that's fine." He's like, "No, this is a guy who's obviously against whatever they were marching for." Like,
he murdered somebody. He took a life.
Right.
Like, and that gets lost in the legality.
Unarmed, but the guy who died, was he unarmed? I'm not really sure what I know that one. I think his first victim was unarmed.
Was armed.
Yeah.
You took a life, and the justification for it. See, that's the thing. And I always have these arguments with my wife because from a legal perspective, you can paint a case that Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself.
Right. I don't care about the legality of it, though. I don't think you do either.
But when they get to the court, it's about legality, not about what's right, what's wrong. And that's the problem that's inherently the problem with the justice system as a whole, right?
Right.
Because it's a game within a game. It's not about what actually happened. It's about, can you prove what actually happened?
Who argues best
within the confines of the legal system, right?
Right.
And it's kind of hard because the victims are no longer here to tell their story.
Right.
Which inherently is the issue as well, because at
Right.
the end of the day, this kid shot 2 people and killed them.
Right.
So there should be a penalty for that. Like the fact that he gets off with no charges, like nothing, not a probation, nothing. But you know what? I'm not even angry because I'm not surprised.
Right.
I'm not
either.
shocked.
We
I
all
thought
knew
he
it
was
was
going to get off
coming.
the whole time.
We all did. All of America knew he was going to get off the whole. Everyone. I don't think there was anyone who thought he was going to get off.
No, there were some people that thought he was going to get off.
I didn't speak
I
to
knew.
one. Anecdotally, I didn't speak to one person who thought he was going to get off.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel bad because I'm so numb to it now. I'm not even angry. I'm numb to it now.
Yeah.
Because I know that people of color don't get justice in the justice. It's not for us. The justice system is not for us. And once you've accepted that, and I'm not saying accept it like it can never change or we don't do anything to change it. I'm just saying that you accept that the justice system is not designed and built for us. It never was.
Right.
Never. Once you've accepted that, you can't get angry about it anymore. And listen, when I was 25 and I was still angry about it, and I was like, fuck that. And now I'm just like, I'm numb to it. And that doesn't mean I don't keep fighting. I don't use my platform. I don't vote and do these things, but I'm just numb to it because it's like when you just realize like it's not going to change. It's not built for us. Yeah. That a kid like Kyle Rittenhouse can literally kill 2 people, murder 2 people.
Yeah.
In self-defense.
Yeah.
And Trayvon Martin didn't fear for his life.
That's the thing. Like, that's another thing where it's like, this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, is just going to be George Zimmerman. And then I say that in a sense where it's like George Zimmerman got off, and throughout the years, it's just been proven that this man is an abusive asshole, like terrorist. He's been in and out of jail. He's done more than his wrongdoings ever since murdering Trayvon Martin. It's going to be the same thing. There's no doubt in my mind Kyle Rittenhouse is going to either A, kill another human being, B, be arrested for domestic violence, C, go to jail for some type of fucking charge. Because that's what he now, this is speculation. Obviously, I can't prove this, but there's no doubt in my mind, and obviously I could be wrong, but in my mind, there's no doubt in my mind he went there hoping for a situation where he'd kill someone. You don't show up to a protest in opposition with an AR-15 to just stand around next to a Starbucks. That's
like me showing up to a pro-life protest with a baseball bat. Just cause.
Just because.
And it's like people can't see that.
Yeah.
It's like I am anti-pro-life, right? So if I go to a pro-life march and I have a weapon, now obviously there's levels of weaponry, a bat versus an AR-15.
Right.
I'm not going there just for shits and giggles. I'm going there because I'm trying to cause something or incite something, or at the very least want something to be incited on me so then I can have a reason to let out my frustration or my beliefs on someone else.
Right.
But hey, man, you got the complexion for the protection, and it's easy for you.
Yeah, man. And shout out to the cops who. Oh no, they didn't. Never mind.
Yeah, no. Never mind. Oh man, what a world we live in. What a planet. What a country we live in.
It blows my mind that there's people in this, like half of this country think that's a normal thing to do, and there's a small part of this country that think that's a heroic thing to do. What he did.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Also. By the way, Matt Gaetz said that he's going to offer, or he's willing to offer, Kyle Rittenhouse an internship.
Oh, Matt Gaetz, that's someone that you definitely want to work for.
Well, that's what that just goes back to my point that there's 2 bad parties that on a completely different fucking planet.
Hey, Matt, how's drugging women going for you?
Why isn't he in jail yet?
The complexion for the protection. We were basically ready to throw Andrew Gillum and Rikers for broken up in a hotel room.
Why is Matt Gaetz in jail?
And
QAnon must be pissed off. Oh wait, right. They're not. Never mind. Yeah. Q doesn't care.
Oh my God! What amazing little country we live in. Amazing. Finally, I wanted to wrap up on a story that I don't think is getting a lot of attention, but it's something that kind of came across my radar recently, and I find it fascinating, not for the wrong reasons, but fascinating. This story, the story of actually well-known tennis star, Chinese. I'm gonna butcher her name, so anybody of Chinese descent, please don't get mad at me. I'm trying my best to pronounce this name. Peng Shuai. Peng Shuai. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not, but Peng Shuai. She is highly ranked tennis star. She's like one of the 2 best tennis stars in the world at doubles. So she's highly ranked, really well known in the tennis world anyway. Really well respected, well ranked tennis star who has. So I'll give you a background on the story. So she recently, a couple weeks ago, came out and basically confessed. Well, confessed maybe is a wrong word, but basically shared that she was sexually assaulted by one of the highly ranked officials in China. Basically, kind of like one of China's big oligarchs. Basically, one of those big premiers in the Communist Party of China. And guys like 77 73 years old. I mean, the details are very weird. You guys can look this up if you find it interesting. But so she basically came out and basically said, hey, they had an affair, and I guess they used to have an affair, and then I guess they did away with that, and then recently he wanted the affair to continue or rekindle things, and sexually abused her. And she put that out there and has not been seen ever since she put that out there, has not been seen publicly. Now, there's a lot of disputes from the Chinese government. They've put out, she's put out a video saying, I am okay. And she put out a statement. She put out a statement saying that I am okay. I have just been relaxing the stress of the sport and everything like that. And also, I am proud. I am a proud Chinese woman, and I hope that love China forever. So yeah, nothing suspicious there. And then well, I think today or a couple hours ago, she put out a video, but still the video is not very convincing. At the end of the day, she has not been seen publicly. She has not seen any matches, any tournaments. None of her other colleagues have seen her. And it is a story that's gaining attention because Naomi Osaka has raised a lot of awareness to it. Novak Djokovic has raised a lot of it. Even Serena has gotten it. Serena and Venus have both said something about it. Basically, the stars of the sport have all came out, and the WHO, WTO, which is the World Tennis Association, has basically said, no, this is not okay. We have not seen her publicly. We're concerned for her safety, and they are threatening to pull business from China immediately if she is not, seen in person or basically verified that she's okay. And it's an interesting story for so many different reasons. I know you weren't following it as much as I was, Josh, but it's an interesting story for so many reasons. Obviously, we know about China and China's ways, and obviously China is always in the news for all the wrong reasons. And this right, and this is one of those, reasons, man. And of course, you have the whole situation with COVID and the Uyghur situation, and now with the stuff with Nike coming out. And LeBron's drawing some criticism from Cantor. Obviously, these aren't all in the same plane, obviously, but yeah, this is a really crazy situation, man. I mean, this isn't some run-of-the-mill, person that spoke out against the government. I mean, this is a well-known tennis star that has essentially disappeared in the last couple weeks and has not been seen publicly. And no one knows her whereabouts. No one's been able to verify her whereabouts or where, if she's okay, if obviously she's still alive because she made a video, but the situation's not cool and it's not good. You have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't have too many facts myself. But it does seem really, really, really sketchy. I'm someone who tries to kind of step away and be like, I don't want to go down a conspiratorial route, but it doesn't seem like she is, being well kept. It doesn't seem like she's in the right state of mind. It doesn't seem like everything is her actions that makes any sense. It does kind of seem like there's something in the background going on that we're really sure about. China's an interesting country. China's a country I really don't understand too much. I know a lot of shady stuff happens. I know that we're in bed with China with a lot of different things, with human rights violations. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I hope she's okay. But I don't know what else to say about the situation other than it just does not feel right to me. Whenever I read something about this, it's just it doesn't sit well in my stomach. And I just really hope that she's okay.
Yeah, I really hope she's okay too. And you kind of hinted at the point that I'm trying to bring this around to, is that China is, we're very involved with China on
Yeah.
a political spectrum, on a financial spectrum. We're very involved with China, and I wanted to praise the WTO, man, because they're putting with their money where their mouth is. They've like, no, this is not okay. Like, and
Yeah.
they didn't take the statement. The video, I don't know what they've said about the video, but pretty much the WTO has really come out in support of this, or in strong opposition of this, and said like, no, this needs, no, we need to see her. We need to verify that she's okay. We need to talk to her, and before we feel good about this. And that you have other well-known stars coming out actively saying like, no, this is, this is not cool. Like, we haven't seen this person in X amount of
Right.
days, weeks, or whatever.
And all they want to know is she's okay. That's all they want to know. Is that
Right,
she's okay.
right. Especially after you come out and say, hey, this person in the Chinese government, or at least well affiliated in the Chinese government, sexually assaulted me, and then randomly she just disappears.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. Yeah, I think there's more there. And I just kind of wanted to give the Tennis Association praise, because again, it takes guts. I mean, we saw the NBA a couple years ago, didn't exactly meet the moment when it came to activism, when you got guys basically, I mean, I'll never forget this. You have James Harden apologizing to the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Still something that blows my mind. Yeah. So yeah, there's not a lot of details to it, but if you're interested, man, a lot of I think Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar have talked about it. I know some other online YouTube shows have kind of started, bringing the topic up. It's something that's kind of not gotten a lot of attention because everything that's going on, but I think it's starting to now become a thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this.
What can happen? Like, what can we do? What can the UN do? Can the UN do anything? Can the WTO do? Like, what's in their power? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like
that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, this is such a unique situation. I don't even know what powers. I mean, I don't even know I don't even know. I doubt the WTO can do much of anything. I mean, I'm sure the UN could probably get involved and say, hey, what, this doesn't check out here. And I'm sure if it became a really big issue, I mean, I don't know if the Biden administration can say something or speak out on something or whatever. I just don't know. I don't, that's, I mean, Biden's asleep by 8:00. So
Biden is asleep by 8. Tucked in.
Matlock at 7. Biden at 8. No, but I don't know what can really be done. I just think bringing awareness to it. I think it helps that Novak Djokovic and Serena and Naomi Osaka are speaking out of it, using their platforms. And I'm sure that there's things that can be done from a standpoint of like raising awareness and bringing attention. I mean, that's why I decided to bring it up to the show.
Yeah, it works. The more people who know about it, the more pressure it puts on the Chinese or whoever is orchestrating this to release her or to prove her well-being. If people ignore this issue, then it's easy for them to kind of hide it and cover it up.
This is and I want to stress, this isn't some run-of-the-mill person. I mean, this is a well-known tennis star that has essentially just disappeared. And no one's been able to see her, like not her family, nobody. Like, we don't know where her whereabouts are. I mean, she's put out a video and she's put out a statement, but those are not exactly, convincing anyone that she's okay, or at the very least not being held against her wishes or will or whatever. So it's a scary situation, man, for a lot of reasons. And it just goes to show you, man, that we're in bed with some very shady characters, man. But it is what it is, man. That free market, man. That free market, that good old capitalism.
Man. I hate it here.
That's a good way to end it. I hate it here. That's a good way to end it, man. All right, man. We've reached the 2-hour mark. I think we've talked about it enough. We did a lot today.
We did.
Young Dolph. We did everything from Young Dolph to, imprisoned tennis stars. So very, very. Oh, allegedly. Sorry, allegedly.
Right.
We've kind of gone the full gamut here of topics, but yeah, man. Tell the audience where they can find you and stuff you got going on, and etc.
I am Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Josh_Rodriguez_. I produce a podcast around Threadly called Certified Buckets with Lethal Shooter, Ashton Nicole Moss, and Christian Winfield. You can check that out on all podcast platforms. My basketball podcast, The Dime, is currently on hiatus, but we'll be back soon, hopefully. And you can follow that at The Dime NBA. And you can subscribe to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search The Dime with Josh Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, I am Manny Brown, co-host of this great podcast. You can find me on Twitter at @DManuelBrown. And of course, you can follow this show on Twitter at AGS Pod, Instagram, AGS Podcast, Facebook, Any Given Sunday. And if you like the show, you can subscribe on all podcast carriers online. We're everywhere. Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart. I mean, we're everywhere. Everywhere you want to listen to podcasts, you can find this show. Listen to it there. Of course, we're on YouTube live every Sunday. So yeah, check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe the videos that we post throughout the week. Like and subscribe the live cast, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate you guys' support. Also, Patreon. I keep forgetting. My wife keeps saying I keep forgetting to post to promote the Patreon page. Yes, we are on Patreon. We have a Patreon page. We got a couple of patrons, but we need to get more. I always feel weird asking folks for money, especially in the type of economy that we live in. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to justify paying $10 for a podcast or whatever. But no, man, any little bit that you can contribute to the show, if you're a true fan, or even if you're not a true fan or whatever, anything that you can contribute to the show, it's greatly appreciated. $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever, anything that you can contribute, we truly appreciate it. It does help. I'm sure every podcaster says the same thing, but it does really help. It is not cheap putting these shows together. So it's a lot of work that goes into it, and it allows us to improve the show, improve the quality, buy equipment, all that good stuff. So, any little bit helps to keep the lights on, literally and figuratively. So, any bit helps. So yeah, go to patreon.com/anygivensunday podcast, patreon.com, anygivensunday podcast, to become a patron. And in the new year, we've got some ideas about doing some Patreon only exclusive content, like interviews. Something that we've been looking forward to for a long time that we'll probably start doing in the new year, Patreon interviews. So we'll do the regular show, and then we'll have a portion of it where it's an interview with a guest. I've got some guests already that are interested. So that's going to be fun to get that going in the new year. And it'll be exclusively on Patreon. So, go check that out. Patreon.com/anygivensunday. Drop us a like and a review on iTunes, man. We really, really need those reviews. That helps the show as well, especially on iTunes and Spotify, the big ones. 5 stars all across the board. It helps the show immensely with those reviews. So just take 2 minutes out of your day, drop a review, tell us what we're doing good, and let others find this as well. So yeah, that's it. That's all the housekeeping items to take care of. Josh, do you have anything else for the listeners before we get out of here?
No, we're good, man. Good show.
Yeah, no doubt. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy your family. Even the ones you don't like. Enjoy this time with your family. Eat a lot of food. Don't eat too much. Please don't drink and drive. Be safe. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We will be back next Sunday on my birthday with another episode of the podcast. For Josh Rodriguez, I am Manny Brown. We are out of here. Peace.